think we're rolling. I don't know if we're rolling or not. I know there's always a delay, and I'm on a camera that I can't see the screen on, but it should pull up right here because I got it on my computer as well. I should probably make sure that I don't blast myself with sound, and then let me know for sure how the mic ends up sounding. Okay, there we go. I think we are live. Ooh, interesting. Okay, sweet. It does look like a very interesting angle from what I have going on up here. But yeah, okay. Let me move this around a little bit. I just like to read the chat from here. I should really get like a software that lets me do everything, but I don't have that. I'm going to go ahead and raise you guys up. My little tripod. This is like my Banana Frost tripod. Sound is good? Good. I can't do what I did on like the last live stream that I ever did with, which was with everybody, and just like, because when you do that, it cuts out all the sound. That's really dumb. Okay, make sure that this looks good. Am I going the right way? Oh, I am going the right way. I'm like not stupid. Let's go. Sick. Yeah, so I wanted to just kind of go over everything that had happened with Drew, that whole story, and like what led to that point, kind of the baseline of what just everything that happened because it was kind of crazy how it all came together because it came together super last minute. So I'll take you back to the preserve. I'll try to monitor chat and like answer any questions that are coming in. But what's up, Wild Juice? Um, Yeah, I met Drew back at the Preserve, which was in June, I believe, in the middle of June. I wasn't planning on doing too much there. I was just going to film with Kevin Kiefer a little bit, which was a whole other fiasco in and of itself, and then Gannon Burr as well, which is a even crazier fiasco. But I was just going to film with them, and Broderick was there, who I had just done some collaborations with, and maybe that was right after. It was around the same time that I collabed with Broderick, and so we were doing some stuff, releasing the Banana Club discs, which still right now I'm bagging. I'm actually bagging a glitch right now, little Banana Club one, and a Z Zone, but that is on my shelf on my like discs to review. So yeah, we did that, and we are hanging out. He was hanging out with Drew because he had been talking with Drew before. Because I don't exactly remember how they got hooked up, but I know like just having relationships with manufacturers or retailers, which in this case it's kind of like they're a manufacturer essentially, or at least they have manufacturing that they use. But like I had a relationship where I'd been talked to by Marcus, who is basically the person who runs Finish Line and brought it as well. And Marcus had connected Broad with Drew, and so I went over and said hey to Broderick, and then obviously building connections is important, and just also cool people are cool people. So I was able to chat a little bit with Drew, and then I didn't plan on this, but I ended up just not wanting to leave with my van from the preserve and go back to like a Cracker Barrel the next day after this first day that I was with Drew and caddy for him because I was like that'd just be good experience. I was thinking about making a video from it, but I ultimately didn't want to do that too much. I want to make sure my connection stays good. If it doesn't, let me know. But yeah, so ended up just chatting with Drew a decent bit and was able to caddy for him for one of his last rounds. I think he had that round, and then the next round two, I think he played, and then he stopped playing for the DGPT that year or on it because he had hurt something in his elbow. But during that time, we were just able to connect, chat a little bit of like business stuff and whatever, and then we had each other's numbers, and he would text me about content stuff, and I wouldn't really text him about too much form stuff because my pro friends who aren't like super nerdy. Like Gannon's super nerdy about form stuff and like will text me about it and stuff all the time and like is super open and responsive, just like responding to whatever. But I don't want to like abuse those relationships because I care about them as like relationships, not as like these are people, not tools. You know what I mean? But I was just chatting with Drew and we were messing around and I was talking about fixing my form and some stuff and he watched one of the videos and he's like, yeah, I have 50 feet of distance right in this picture. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah. And then he like said like a stupid number. He's like, yeah, if you pay me blah, 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 you can have it. And like a dumb number that like wasn't even real. And I was like, what can I get for free? And so he gave me that. And then we ended up just talking about coaching. And he has a phenomenal understanding of the swing. And especially what has worked for him is he's developed it for himself and become one of the premier throwers in the world. And so um, I wanted to make sure I didn't necessarily think that it would mean that I would get coached by him. And initially, the thought process was that it was going to potentially be virtual, or at least that was my thought. But virtual is just not nearly as good as in person coaching. So I thought that, and we had texted, and this was like a Friday night, and my wife was actually out of town. She was about to get back into town. Maybe it was Thursday night. She was getting back into town Friday, and she was out with people. And then Drew and I were talking, and I ended up just being like, okay, like are you serious about this? Like, do you actually want to do this? Like, do you want to come to Arizona for a week? And this is also like the Friday, 2 Fridays before I left for Lynchburg for 10 days. So I wasn't planning on traveling too much during this time. I was planning on like really starting my off season after the Battle for Bedford. Or I plan to have a month between an A tier that I played and then the Battle for Bedford, and then I slotted a C tier in between there because Cole told me that I needed to try to win some tournaments. Luckily, I was able to win that one, and then knew that after the Battle for Bedford, it would really be the start of my off season where I was already planning on doing so much form work and working on that, and so the the form work there, I knew that it would just be beneficial twofold because obviously the videos that I put out are just based on them being like good videos that have a lot of value in the form side of things. And the videos themselves are obviously, at least I hope it is obvious that they're my experience. Like the training that I did with Drew is very individualistic training, and it's training that like if you had a different student or a different person, it would probably look very different. I think especially one of the things that trips people up is there's a lot of comments on so many of the videos that are like, Anthony, shut up. Like you're the student, like listen to him and like take in blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, like that's understandable to think that because maybe that's how you learn. But like if I just like sit there and try to listen to the guy, like that's not how I'm gonna take in the information. I need to have a dialogue and synthesize it. And Drew understood that, and us having good rapport was helpful because he knew like I'm not like trying to step all over him, but we're just having a dialogue and talking about things and working through it because I'm not someone who's just gonna like you tell me this thing and if it doesn't make sense to me, I'm just gonna like do it. Obviously, there's some trust there, and I'll try it for sure, but I'm not gonna like commit to it without fully understanding. And so like I need to have a intense dialogue, and there's also conversations that happen off camera that like you just don't see, and so that just turned out to be interesting. But back to getting like the idea to go, I really thought like, hey, this would be a good jump start for the off season. I knew that there were just like so many things that I look at my form and I'm like, man, I'm throwing the disc 400 feet, maybe 420, and I'm like really ripping and getting into it. It's like going 430, and I'm like, that's fine. It's not good enough for the pro tour. And here's another quick aside: is the whole idea of 500 feet being like of a golf line being necessary for the pro tour. I say that multifold. There are people on the pro tour who don't throw 500-foot golf lines consistently. Um, and they maybe are able to, but those people are few and far between, one, and two, people who've been playing forever and have a phenomenally well-rounded game. For me, I look at things like this where I have these goals and I want to get a tour card and be able to play on the tour and have those skills, and I think, okay, how do I give myself the best chance at not failing at that? And yes, like what not necessarily what is the minimum viable standard? Like what is the minimum that I need? Which is probably 450 golf line, 400-foot forehand, being perfectly accurate within 350 feet, like being able to throw pinpoint straight shots. Like yeah, if you have all of that and you putt 100% inside the circle or 90% inside the circle and 30% in circle two, I'm sure you can cash and maybe do a little bit better than that on the tour. We've seen those players pop up from time to time, but you've also seen those players pop up and be sporadic. The people that you always see at the top are the people who have that 500 plus foot golf line, and that seems to be the minimum of everybody that I asked. And a lot of the people that I'm asking, because a lot of the friends that I have are like the Simon, the Cole, the Gannon, the Drew, Albert Tom, like the people who I'm like, okay, how far do you actually need to be able to throw? And every single one of them this year said 500 feet. And last year, I'd actually asked similar questions, or at least like looked for that data, and a lot of people were saying 450 to 475, and that was in 2022. And so this year, like it seems like it's maybe a little bit higher, it's maybe a little bit different. Either way, though, I it's twofold. The reason why I say that you need a 500-foot golf line. One, the people who are following me and who have similar aspirations, for the most part, especially if like they're seeing me as an aspirational identity for themselves, meaning that maybe I'm further along in the journey than they are. I want to like give a realistic expectation of the work that it's going to take to get there. And so like I'm obviously trying to put that in, but on top of that, it's like setting realistic like goals for yourself and saying, okay, I need to try to get a 500-foot golf line, because if I went out and tried to get a 450 golf line, I think I'd probably have that very soon. But there's still things in my form that I know I need to work on, and obviously I'd want to throw farther and farther. But setting something that's that like achievable for me, which I feel like uh, that would like take the course of maybe a week of just fine tuning a couple things instead of fixing all the problems that I have in my form that really need to be fixed to get myself way past that. That's kind of where I think about that, because it's not like I don't want to be minimally viable on the tour. I don't want to like just get by and have some good cashes and maybe get up in the mix. I want to get to the tour, and the reason that I'm not placing well, be golfing and mental game, not having the requisite skills to do it. Because there are a lot of people who throw 550 feet and have a 425-foot forehand, but you're not placing super well, and that's because of the golfing, the mental game, disc selection. Golfing for me is like disc selection, all these things, and like those are things that I think are more of my strong suits of the game. And so I think having all the skills will be helpful. But it's also like I don't want to get there and feel hindered by a lack of a skill set. Not necessarily saying like, oh, AB can throw 650, and so I need to be able to do that. But like, okay, what do these holes require you to do in order to actually score well, or what makes it significantly easier? And there is a like diminishing returns as you are able to throw farther and farther because it's not super necessary on almost any of the holes. And someone who's accurate from 400 feet but has a 500-foot golf line, if there's a 900-foot par four, then they throw that 500-foot shot and then they put it on the basket from 400 feet, or they throw two 450-foot shots. And that person who has 600 feet and then throws a 300-foot up shot, they're probably, if you have to play that hole 1,000 times in a row, they're probably going to get it more if they're equally as accurate, but not by a significant margin. And so that's why the minimum, like, that I think you need to be able to compete at the top level is that 500 feet of distance. And even Gannon was like, yeah, to get to 1030, you need 450. To get to 1040, you need 500. And so I'm trying not. I don't think I'll ever get at the top of the game. Like I'm gonna try to push towards that. I'm not giving myself that expectation. Just trying to be grateful with wherever I'm at. But I want to give myself all the opportunities to be one of the best players in the world, even if I don't think that that's something that is reasonably achievable or is maybe reasonably rationally like probably achievable for me starting this game later, even though I do have like the ability to do it full time and commit a lot of energy towards it. So getting back to the thing with Drew, I knew that I needed to fix so many things in my form, and I didn't know exactly what all of it was. And I was like testing and thinking about things. In the last video that I posted before I went out to hang out with Drew was the video where CC Crusher, a junior player out of Oregon or Washington, I was like emulating something from her form, and just like there were so many things that I like was guessing and like, okay, let me try this out, and that can get you there, but it's easier to obviously have a guide. And so I thought about like, okay, what would it be worth it to me? And then Drew put out a number, which was a high number in order to pay somebody for a week of coaching, especially for me. But it's also one that I knew would be worth it twofold because this is not only helpful for my form, which that in of itself is super helpful because that means that I'm going to make more money this year in tournaments, and so I don't have to like I'll probably make that money back that I paid in tournaments ideally if like I'm able to actually get this form where I need it to be by the start of the season instead of like only halfway there by the start of the season. So that's a win because I have this big jump start. On top of that form, this is a big thing that I don't know if a lot of people think or talk about, but since I'm more of like a marketing, like business minded kind of guy, is like form is one of the most marketable things in disc golf. The people who throw the farthest, like throwing far and having good form, are super marketable. People love watching Simon's vlogs, obviously because of who Simon is, but because they love watching Simon throw a disc, similar to Drew. Like people just like watching people who have very pretty form because the form is kind of like a fluid, dancey sort of movement. And then on top of that, they also just like watching the disc go far. And so in my mind, it's like me, if I can throw 450 or if I can throw 525, the 525 version of me is going to have more potential viewership, potential sponsorship, like just more marketability overall. And the more that my form looks how I want it to or looks very visually pleasing to watch, the better it's going to end up being. And so I knew that not only from a play perspective or from a marketability perspective, but then also I knew that the videos that I'd be able to produce, the 7 videos that turned into the Backhand Bootcamp series, would likely also pay for a vast majority, if not all or more, of what it would cost me to go and spend that time with Drew. And so, of course, it was important for me to be there with Drew as a coach, but it was also a business decision. So kind of all that comes into the calculus. And then I kind of get to what went into getting there, but I'm going to make sure that there's no questions or anything like that. Yeah, we got Megatron 3000 says, how important is it to go to an open field and throw? I'm stuck form-wise. I know I need to film myself, but I also think I just need to get my whole body involved. Yeah, this is something that I've really been thinking a lot about recently I like to get into an open field and throw. I don't know why that would that seems to me that you're like, okay, I know I need to do this, I know I need to film, but I need to get my whole body involved. It's like all that can be done at a field. And I think the field is a great place. I think the net has been helpful for me, but I really like being in a field because it feels more natural to what I'm going to be doing. I, it's kind of funny. This last like week, I haven't done a crazy amount of training because it's been so much content focused. But the 2 or 3 weeks before that has been probably 70% training, 30% content focused. And so I would definitely say that the getting out into a field is really important. From my perspective, like Drew says, he never does field work. Other people say they never do field work, and this is something that I've actually been learning as I've been interacting more with um, more top level pros like Joel, Colt, whatever. Like some of the things that they say are not for you. Like some of the things that they say that they do, like that's not for you. Like don't listen to that for you because yeah, it all has to be contextual. Obviously, a lot of it is, and a lot, if they're like, "Hey, this is what I'm telling AMs," blah blah blah. But if they're saying this is what I do, some of that is just not for you, and a lot of that is not for me. Like Drew saying, "Hey, I don't like going out and doing field work." Cool, but like for me, I need to get into a field and like be able to shank a shot and not be pissed about it because it's like, oh, it still went far, and that's fine. And so everything is obviously contextual, and everything that people say, including myself, is just based on your own personal journey. So some things that I say maybe aren't for you. Like maybe I say, hey, I need to do this, and you're like, yeah, I already do that, and I need to tone it back. So that's just like everything needs to have that context. But I would say getting into a field is important or a net, but 100% filming yourself. It's got on like the defaults of all of my channels or both of my channels, including Hero Banana for All. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video, that'd be clutch. But I have my affiliate links for everything, and I have like a phone tripod that I use, which is like 15 or 20 bucks, I think. And it's just actually I have it right here. I can show you. I keep it in this little part of my bag. But it looks kind of funky when you put it all together. Don't make people ask you what it is, but you just open it up, and that's what I use to like film myself. And I keep it in my bag. And that way, like, if you really don't want to go to a field, which I think would be beneficial to do, but I also understand that I'm talking from a perspective and a context of somebody who has the luxury of doing this full time when I don't have to worry about when it becomes night because I can go out at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. or whatever and like plan my day around the things that I actually need to get done. So that's definitely a luxury that I have personally. And so if you were like, no, I just want to get onto the course and figure this out, that's 100% okay as well. I would also just bring this and then either put it in your bag or just take it out. And people might think you're weird, but I think most people would understand because it's becoming definitely more normal, I think. Or at least, like, I don't know more normal, but it feels normal to me or not weird to like pull out a tripod and film yourself and film your throw and from a couple angles. And I do that sometimes when I don't want to get to a field. I just want to go and throw and enjoy playing disc golf, but I'll still bring that out and record. And then as I'm walking down the fairway, hopefully I'm not tripping over roots. Luckily I'm in Denver, there's not a lot of trees. I'll just be kind of looking at my form, seeing the things that I wanted to do, seeing if my swing thoughts have been working. But I do think that network or field work with the emphasis on form is pretty important. Looking at your form and then also feeling it. And I have kind of been in between a couple minds on that of I definitely like watching my form, but feeling it is also super important. And then one of the things that I've been trying to do better that I do decently is writing down cues like on a notes app and then going back, finding those cues and like using them. Well, it's not super easy to do for me personally, but taking those cues and putting one of them in your head, trying it, seeing if it affects your body. But also I've noticed that, so for instance, this is something that I'm actually working out right now. But I've noticed that let me make sure that, I'm just looking to make sure that I'm still in the frame. Okay, I'm definitely not sick. Okay, let's bump this up a little bit. I've noticed personally that some of the cues, so for instance, the last big thing of form that I need to work on, which is actually something that I made a bet with Gannon about, that I'm going to have a video posted about that soon, but the last major thing is my pull through. So I'll just snag a disc right here. That's kind of funny, this little Glow Supra thing with a Captain Mac and a copyright infringement stamp on it. But the last big thing that I'm needing to work on is my pull through, because what happens is I get to this position too early, and so I'm like leaning forward. My head is also almost always like this, like kind of straining. Like you can see my veins here, and so I think it's mostly a head issue, but we'll get to that. And so I get to this position, and then because I'm like falling forward and I'm already here too early, there's only one place to go if I'm trying to keep the disc in the same place, and I continue falling forward, which is my shoulder will go from this internal rotation to being externally rotated. And so now as I come to pull through, since I'm already slightly leaning forward and my shoulder's externally rotated, if it goes to go from this position to this position, it kind of has to swoop. So it goes, and instead of just coming here and being a flat pull through, it is externally rotated and has to be a swoopy pull through just because of the nature of how your shoulder joint works, I believe. And so for me, I was really thinking about, okay, let me think about getting this lower. Let me think about reaching out more. Let me think about just keeping it on Anheuser. Let me think about turning the key to keep and these are all like cues that I've thought about for myself. Turn the key, like think about having this shoulder go over, like this, like over the shoulder for some reason. I don't know, but also like an off arm thing, and it did not work. It hasn't worked yet, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the freak is the issue? And I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was noticing that I don't turn around with my head. This is a video I might make just fully for this channel, or maybe something for Nana for Off, but or for the main channel. But I noticed that like I get to here, and I'm trying to stay here, like I'm trying to, because I want to expel that energy forward instead of just being loose, letting my body flow with the motion. And so I was noticing that I was keeping my head forward and like my ear towards my shoulder almost. And so one of the things that I thought about was letting myself look backwards. Because for a while, when I initially did some coaching with Overthrow Disc Golf for last season's off-season Project 100, which I think that these were good things to talk about because I was doing them wrong, and he identified a lot of good things. But some cues like you take with you and you think about, and this is something I've noticed, is I've thought about some cues that are probably detrimental now instead of useful like they used to be. So one thing was I would get into a position where I would turn around from the target, and so I was completely facing backwards. My hips were completely facing backwards, and I have to open up and like round myself to get around my target. And so I had to think about not turning around. Like, and so because of that, as my hip movement has been good, as my lower body is feeling very fluid, like that shouldn't necessarily be a concern right now, because it's really not. And so now, because I have that cue in my head, or I had it from, and I just realized this from last year of, hey, let me make sure that I don't turn around, which is more of a footwork cue. Hey, make sure that I don't, instead of going straight or lateral movement with my X step, I don't rotate into my X step. Instead of that, I was thinking, okay, let me make sure that I don't turn around. So I'm right here, instead of what you see a lot of pro positions be, which is when they're kind of over their back foot here, and everything is controlled. And because of that, they like look behind. Like one of the people who's if you watch Disc Golf Van Life, if you just search all one word Disc Golf Van Life, they just did coverage of the Trailblazer, who I have a buddy, Joey Buckets, Joseph Anderson. He was on a card, so I was watching that coverage. And the final round, if you watch Jared Stoll, he is a West Side player, really solid player, bombs. But he does this very well, and I've noticed most players do it. And no matter what, no one's neck is as strained as mine is trying to stay over the shoulder by leaning backwards. But Jared does it really well, where he's in these positions, and then you just see for a quick second, all the way back, all the way forward. And it's not that he is backwards with his hips. Like, his shoulders would have to be parallel to his hips here. Instead, his hips are still in a solid position, and instead of doing what I do, which is getting here and still like leaning forward to get there, and so your elbow has to hyperextend and you have to externally rotate your shoulder, and so you swoop a little bit. What I've thought about today was actually twofold. The other one I'm going to make another video about, but I had my first couple shots that were actually like, I'll just show you what I'm talking about here and then show you the cues that I was worried about. But this is the form that I've been trying to work out of my system. Let me show you real fast. So if we watch, this is just some shots from Lower Badlands. I'm just going to show you right here. And I can't really look over it, but watch how my shoulder moves. Well, it's going to hyperextend my elbow, and then it's going to swoop through. So you see how it kind of went from up, like here, extended, and then kind of made like a V? Today, I still have a problem where I'm not on Anheuser and pulling through, and Gannon is like, hey, you still got to do that, because we actually made a bet that's kind of about that. But if we look at today, kind of what I did was, I'll just show you this. You're going to see that my pull through is significantly more level. Oh, I moved it the wrong way. Shoot. Oh, no, I suck. Okay, sorry. That's so bad. I don't know what I thought, but okay, I'll move it this way, and then I'll restart it real fast so you can see. But even though I'm not pulling through on Anheuser, I thought about two things, and it really, really helped this. So you can see I got to this position, and then my elbow went straight forward instead of going swoopy, which means that my shoulder was in a better position. The two things that I thought about there was, one, letting myself look behind me again. I don't know what happened, but I like feel like it's impossible for me to not look behind me. Like, that is just something, oh, I have to do this. Oh, okay, go boom, and now I'm look. And now but I have to be here because I don't want to look behind me because that cue from way back last off season, which is still stuck in my head, even though I fixed that problem that the cue was trying to address, I still have that in the back of my head, and it's not a good cue for me anymore. And so that's super interesting and something I literally realized today or yesterday, not today, but allowing myself to get here. And I'm even honestly going to start because in those videos, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm looking so far behind me. And instead of being here, I was like, here, where I could be here. And so, like, I need to like tell myself to basically, for a split second, look directly 180 degrees behind me. Because to do that, if I'm already past my X step, which the other cue addresses that problem of getting to this position too early, which I'll talk about in a second, but getting here and then like trying to keep my head in the same position, which is what I have been doing while this goes backwards, instead of keeping my whole torso as a unit and moving it backwards and looking backwards. And this position, collapse in, can move straight forward. The other cue that really helped me is I noticed while I was editing the video that just went live on the main channel, Bodanza Disc Golf, that the time-lapse video, that I noticed that I was like setting up well, and I had a couple throws where, shoot, I don't think I deleted that footage, and it'd be a real big pain in the butt to try to figure it out. So I'm gonna try to recreate it slightly. But I noticed that I was doing some like practice swings where I had my disc here and just like was holding it like this. In my practice swings, everything was perfect for how I want it to look. My feet were also a little bit shorter, which is the main thing that Drew really drilled me on. And it's something that I'm continually having to think about, being loose and having my feet be slightly shorter. I don't need to like force the disc down the fairway. I just need to throw the disc, spin the disc down the fairway, and it will be well. It will be good. I don't know. But the thing that I noticed is I like start here, and I honestly thought that I was leaving my hand on the disc too long. And this is another thing that just like the cues that other people are talking about, myself included, are not always going to work for you or be good for you. Because, and this is another, it goes back to the point that I was talking about with the pros and how like that's also not always for you. Because if you guys saw the video of Yuli being coached a little bit by Ezra on some stuff, and he was able to throw a disc 555 slightly downhill, and he was like, yeah, your hand stays on the disc for so long, you need to take that hand off, just take the hand off and just do it, and you'll probably be more loose. And I was like, maybe I have that problem. I hold the disc like this before my walk up as well. And this is why it's probably not for me, because I was getting to the point where I noticed in this coverage or the footage that I had filmed, that I'm getting to the point where instead of like being here when I was practicing and then releasing, when I actually went to throw, I took my step before my X step, my hand came off, and I started to rotate backwards. So I rotated slightly into my X step instead of moving laterally into my X step, which I tended to do when I kept my hand on the disc just in my practice throw. And so in those throws, what I really thought about was, don't let this hand, the backhand, leave the disc until I hit my X step. I'm still a little bit more looking backwards than I might want in a lot of those throws, but those two cues really helped me because it helped me to not get into this position while this foot is still like all the way off the ground. And so instead of that happening, I was able to get here because I get into my X step, and then after that, I start coiling back. And so I really think that the mix of that cue, which I'm going to continue working on because I really only had about 10 minutes today to work on it. This week is kind of nuts for me with like some stuff that's going on, hopefully including some proposals as well with some potential companies for next year. But those cues, keeping my hand on the disc and letting myself get rid of that cue where if I'm look behind me, I'm not going to like, if I'm already on my X step, which I will get to by having this hand on the disc, knowing that I get to this X step position, I'm not, after I get into that X step position, going to spin 90 degrees on my toe to point my hips backwards. That's something that like I think would almost be impossible for me to do because of how stupid it would be. But get to this point, and since I'm already here, if I allow myself to look back, it's just going to mean that I probably am going to coil into this hip where my like energy is going to, I'm looking backwards, and so this hip, since I'm on the ball of my foot, is getting coiled into with a lot of tension so that I can release it. All that to say, I think I figured a couple things out. I have to throw 500 feet by December 1st. Otherwise, I have to get Gannon some stuff. I'm going to look at, I don't even remember where that came from. Also, if you guys are watching Banana Froth for a minute, you know I had a test, passed the test, obviously. Everyone already knew that, but it's also good to have an official diagnosis because makes things a little more helpful and just better understanding. And I never want to assume a neurodivergence if it's potentially not there. No. Okay. We'll look at a couple. Okay, apparently you can't touch your microphone. It doesn't like that. Maybe like, okay, I can grab the water. Good to know. Jeez, my bad. All right. Oh wait, now I have to wait. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at all of this. This is awesome. This is riveting content. Okay, I'm gonna answer a couple more questions, then we're gonna get to. I'm gonna answer all the rest of the questions. Oh my gosh, there's a good bit of them. Okay, West Coast Florida fishing. Yo, Anthony, love the new channel, homie. The Drew series was great. Love more concise content geared towards your form work and practice. Planning on it. It's gonna be coming very soon. A lot of it's gonna be on this channel because I have a lot of like very scattered thoughts that I work on, and I tend to work fast, and I don't know how to amalgamate that into a video, or haven't yet. So, a lot of one-off videos are going to be on this channel. There's going to be a lot of stuff on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed here, I'd appreciate it a lot. It's a big part of my business plan for next year, just in giving myself a very creative outlet where I feel a lot less pressure tied to the analytics of it. And hopefully it's just like some funny money that it's able to help me tour a bit. Did you watch Overthrow critique of Drew's coaching? I did not watch it. He told me not to, and I have no interest in watching it. Have you ordered Tech Disc, and what are your thoughts on it? I ordered this. I don't think there's a date on it, but I think I bought it, and it got to my house when I was with Drew, which was, I think, well over a month ago. And I haven't opened it yet because I want to open it for a video on this channel, and then we're going to have like an initial session with it on the main channel. But yes, I've played around with it at a couple different stores. It's money. It's super cool. I think it'll be helpful. Recently, it's just been like, I just need to get into a field, and like there's things that it's like, the Tech Disc isn't going to help me if I can't. It will help me, I think, fine tune a lot of things, and like it would probably be a beneficial tool. But I do also have an affiliate link for it. Let me see if it's in this description. If you did end up picking one up, that'd be clutch. I don't think it's in this description yet. I'll have to add it to all of my baseline descriptions. But yeah, I'll have an affiliate link down there whenever I post a video about it. So sweet. Have you ordered Tech Disc? Yep. P.S. My wife and I were stoked to get a mystery box and absolutely framing single disc. Oh, thanks, man. How small can you make your face? Not very. I got a big head. Hey, so I'm pretty sure you're from Ohio. If so, what part of Ohio? Northeast Ohio. I know you say you play Area 51, one of your order vlogs, which is my local course. Sick. Yeah, my mom was from Columbus, and my sister went to OSU, and she's down there. But ever try not doing that? I have not tried not doing that, Corey. Love you too, Jacob. What's up, Pee-wee? Look pretty slow in the video. Might want to work on speed. I never know if you're serious or not, but it's also form is not always that. Your video coach with Drew have been so helpful to my game. Thank you. What's up, bud? Didn't know you go live on this channel. I haven't yet, but I'm planning on maybe a little bit. You need to set up like Overthrow. I don't want to rent office space to do that. But I do have a gym at my apartment that I'm probably going to take a net into after this session, in between writing a proposal and like work on some of this stuff. Noticing a trend that being fluid is better, even in putting. Yeah. Can I do a kick flip? Maybe with like one of those little micro things on a. No, I can't even do it with that. Does practicing your throw slowly really help? Yes, 100%. This is what every single pro has ever told me. Drew, Cole said go as slow as you need to make it look like you want. I've done some field work with him recently because he's been in Colorado. He's like, yeah, do it as slow as possible and then speed up. 100% it helps. I think it helps to go fast, obviously, but your body is going to revert to things as it's moving quickly because the faster it moves, the more comfortable positions it can get into, the less it feels like it's going to injure itself. At least that's my opinion on it. I have a video coming out probably in 2 days. It's going to be called Why It's Physically Impossible for You to Throw Far, which is slightly about that, more so about the injury potential and ways that mobility and strength training can help disc golf. Quick question. As much as you talk for your videos, do you find yourself talking to yourself a lot? Yes. Big time. Chris, absolutely. I do shadow reps for a few weeks and saw a huge improvement. Are you saying to look behind you or to not look behind you? I'm saying that for you, I have no idea. If your hips are going forward and you're not getting a full reach back and you're like leaning forward too much, maybe try looking behind you. If your hips are if you're walking backwards into your X step, then don't. It just depends on kind of the cue. That's something that I thought was really helpful. Is like it. This is also why I never want to coach. Like I'm super uninterested in it. I just want to play and get better and like worry about like that meme that's like, well, you worry about yourself, like on TikTok. But yeah, it's gonna be completely up to you, Logan. Whether and like try it. If it helps, cool. If it doesn't, don't. But this is why like there's just so much understanding and that that like you get over time, and I've continued to gain. And it's just like I don't. It's hard for me to understand what to put into videos, and like because I'm not a coach, but I like want to share my journey, and but everything can be so overly contextual that like people are taking pieces that like they shouldn't be taking, and then it's hurting their form. And it's like this is why like everything needs to, even from me, everything needs to go in one ear, out the other, and keep the things that you think will help you, and test that still. Don't even just like blindly take it. But yeah, that's kind of how I try to move through life. I think I'm wondering if you could still feel the hit on a shadow rep. I think it's less about feeling the hit, and like you're probably not doing shadow reps at the hit. You're probably doing shadow reps of other things that you need to before the hit. What's your grip for mids versus drivers? I am only a power grip guy. You thought that I might need to change that because there's a problem. I think instead I just need to train myself to lock my wrist. And I also noticed one of the things that is contributing to my nose up is when I pull through, I open my wrist like this instead of opening my wrist like this. And so I need to just train that movement. I thought it was a grip issue. I think I just need to train my wrist, and that'll help me to get nose down. But also, could be wrong. Not a form question, but have you reached the 4,000 watch hours? Not on this channel. That's actually part of this live stream, obviously. I'm a businessly minded guy, so I'm trying to have people watch this. And then because of that as well, good question. Tomorrow on this channel, I'm going to be posting the master video series with Drew. It's going to be just, I'm going to transition the videos. I think they actually pretty seamlessly transition because of the way that I edited them initially. But it's just going to be all 7 videos into one video, which is going to be live on this channel. And so if you want to watch that, feel free to watch that. And yeah, if you want to watch that all the way through a couple times to help me get 4,000 watch hours, that'd be clutch. Big man himself, little man. Psych, Adam. I'm not the big man. The one who got me back into disc golf. Sick. Streaming. What's this madness? Yeah. If not sponsored going to 2024, do you have plans on changing the bag? Yes. More specifically, adding the interval or that copyright Supra to your bag. Probably not the Supra. Maybe the interval. Hoping that it is maybe a tour series, but that's gonna depend on a lot of stuff to happen. But in the talks with the right people to make that happen. Thanks again for the extra orange cash dash pure for sure, man. Can't believe I lost my red one. Do you do grip strength exercises? So I'll show you this. Oh gosh. So this is a little section of my office that is kind of like my fitnessy section. I was able to find these dumbbells at Goodwill for like $5, $6 each, which is clutch. Or $6 for like the whole set of these like adjustable dumbbells. But I do try to do grip strength exercises. My athletic trainer, who's in a video on the channel, who like is kind of my athletic trainer, kind of not, an athletic trainer buddy of mine, Josh. He prescribed me a bunch of exercises to do. So I have like these bands, I have a pull-up bar that I use just, especially to hang, just for shoulder health. And then I have a jade stone, which is for scraping. Especially I've noticed I had a tendon issue, like my grip strength in this index finger, my throwing one, is significantly weaker than my left one. So that's something I absolutely need to be working out. And to do that, I bought these, which are like little ear ones that you can just use for all your grips. Or I like it because I can very intentionally, like the grip that I have with the disc should be right here. So I can just practice that. And then obviously if you need assist, just throw the middle finger on there. There's 4 of those. I also like to do supination and pronation with a hammer. Very helpful for the rotation of your wrist. And then just forearm curls, both forwards and backwards. And then I do a superset in my program of Zotman curls, which are curling up here and then down that way to help your brachialis. Tricep extensions and face pulls, which is just helpful for the shoulder and elbow. And then, like, I have one of these, and then I have these for extensors, which I don't honestly use very much, but they can be helpful. I do think extensors are super important to train, but I just need to be more consistent about it. Oh my gosh, we got some questions. Gonna head out. Good night, Sean. Oh wait, that was way long ago, probably. Watching your coaching series legitimately added 50 feet to my throw. That's awesome. Thanks. How should I curl my wrist or have it straight, or depends? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. What I just had said was completely speculation of what I think is potentially happening, but I don't know yet. Thanks, bro. Appreciate your insights and thoughts. Hardest part about the form content is that it's all over the place and nothing works for everyone. 100%. How hard do you guys grip the disc? I try to grip it as hard as it can stay in my hand until the hit. You need a shake weight. Ew, no, Corey. Not a question, but just want to say I've been watching for a while. I've been blown away to see the distance you're not hitting this month and the lines and long putts you're nailing. Thank you, man. What's your opinion on the UDisc ratings? I don't like them a single bit, personally. I don't care too much because, honestly, I just lost my streak on UDisc. I noticed today I was so pissed because it was like a year or whatever. and I've been playing a little bit, but I just don't put anything on UDisc anymore. I just go out and play and like try to make holes more interesting. And so that was yeah, I was I was disappointed that I lost my streak, obviously, but I don't really like the rating system because it's super inconsistent. Maybe the more propagations they get, like the more times people play, the better that will become. But it's also like so easy to cheat on UDisc. It's so easy to for people to just be like, oh, I just take my second shot, or oh, I missed this putt, but I actually would have made it. So let me put this in. I mean, I've freaking done that before because who cares? And I want to feel good about my score. That's why that Simon thing on Instagram today, where people were like, that was the biggest cap in the world. I post if you check my Instagram story, I reposted and I said this is the biggest cap in the history of disc golf. But the Simon thing where he's like, okay, so you have a hole that's a par five, it's 900 feet, and so you have a 30-foot putt for eagle and you miss it and you tap in your birdie. Does that feel better to you if the next year the exact same thing happens and you just take a par because they changed the par to a par four? And the majority, I think like 54% of people said, it doesn't matter. It's the same score. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Why are you being idealistic? Don't lie to yourself. Everybody knows that it's better to take a birdie. And if you're not a mental juggernaut, some people are, but not 54% of the people in Simon's freaking comments. Come on, that's craziness. But yeah, I don't like the ratings. Hopefully they propagate to get better. I don't really care about them. I kind of wish there was a way to turn them off. Like I don't want to see them. I just want to go and play. Like that's probably why I haven't logged these rounds because like I don't care. Like and I don't want it to make me feel any way about my round. I just want my round to be my round, and then I have it as evidence of like, hey, this is what I've done and this is how I can improve. But now that there's a rating attached to it, like if there's a way to turn it off, someone let me know because I really don't like it. But that's just super my opinion. The grip trainers are amazing. I use them after I broke my finger in jiu-jitsu. Really help. That's good to know because I really need it to make this stronger. Opinion on gripping at the hit or holding hard the whole time? I don't know yet. I have to figure that out for myself. You need to get in on Drew's glitch challenge with Simon. Nah, I would get smoked. Do you have a place where you can just hurl into a net nearby, or do you normally just take it into a field? I normally just take it into a field, but there is an upstairs part that's like an aerobics part to my apartment gym, and I'm going to try to take it up there probably tonight to see if it like I measured it actually. I took a tape measure out there, and I'm like, okay, my net will fit, but now it's just a question of whether or not I'm going to be able to throw it in there if people will complain. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, though. I know you throw peers for understable putters. Uh-oh. Have you thought about thought space practice for a straight with a little fade at the end? Small hand approved for me. Go watch tomorrow's video. I filmed a video about that today. So, well, don't watch it now, but I filmed that video today. Not technically the practice, but it is the practice. I filmed it with this peer, with this guy, and with this guy. The bullet and the proxy and the pure. And yeah, someone asked a question about the bag earlier. My bag is definitely going to be changing whether or not I get sponsored. There are some just molds and things that I don't like as much now, and then especially as I continue to add distance over the off season and perfect my form and then like tweak it, I'm like waiting until that happens, or I feel confident enough with it that it's like, okay, this is the stage that I want to be, that until I put this in my bag that I know will be there for the season. But for now, spoiler alert, this is the winner. Proxy, I think, is the best throwing putter in the world right now. For like this slot, like for everybody. Like the best on the planet for like everybody can use it. And the bullet, I didn't like that much, which is also the practice in the gesture disc love, which is I was surprised. What's your opinion on Drew Gibson? Heard he's kind of weird. All right, that'll be the last question we answer, and then we'll get back to, well, that'll segue us into what I was going to be talking about anyways, which is kind of what happened in getting to Arizona and that whole process. So ended up, we kind of set all this up. I had to book flights. Luckily, I had some flight credits from Southwest because my wife and I got bumped from a plane. Like, we let ourselves get bumped from a plane, and we got like $1,300 in flight credits each. So I was able to fly to Phoenix pretty last minute. Got picked up at the airport. We snagged some food, just started talking, and then I hadn't really planned too much of like what the content was going to end up looking like because I didn't know what the days were going to look like because it all came together so last minute. I knew I had basically 5 days there, 4 days, I guess. It was a half day on Monday since I got in at like 1 p.m. Then it'd be all Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a half day on Friday, just the morning before I'd fly out. So technically like 4 days, like 4 full days of training, but 3 days and 2 half days, which is actually better in my opinion than 4 full days because the half day you get a lot done, then you get rest. And then you have a full day where you overdo it on the second day and then you screw up the whole rest of your week. So maybe it's not that good, but yeah, I got into town, and then we just sat down for that hour, and basically that whole video is just on the channel of Drew Roast My Form for an hour. It's what I use for the thumbnail of this live stream is like that, as well as just the thumbnail for that video and like pixelated a little bit. But we talked about form stuff, and initially in that conversation, there were just some things that he said that I understood for the very first time. Which, for instance, the biggest one for me that was super surprising was okay, if I get to here, obviously I think my shoulder thing is another issue. It's gonna swoop no matter what. But now I get to here, and I can pull through flat, and big part of the reason for that is my off arm being in a better position. Because if my off arm comes in here and my disc is trying to go there, it's going to train a response to go like this, which is going to swoop, cause nose up, cause a little air bounce. Not what you want to do. And so I'm just like making a mess with these discs on my floor right now. And so that was like a first, because I had been like questioning, okay, some people talk about the off arm as if it's like the god of throwing far. Of like, oh, okay, you get your off arm perfect, you're going to be blasting the disc no matter what. Some people are like, yeah, the off arm doesn't matter a single bit. You shouldn't even think about it. And the way that I've started to think about most things in form is, one, super personal. It's all super personal. Getting actual coaching from someone who actually understands things is super important. But I honestly don't know how many of those people are out there or who they are personally. And I'm not trying to find them to like put together a list. And like I'm not sponsored by anybody to say that anybody is good. So like I don't care. But it's important to find somebody who knows how to do it and why they do it. But the thought about the off arm is that if it's hurting you, fix it. If it's neutral, don't change it unless everything else in your form is perfect and you think it could help. But like, if your off arm is out of the way, don't think your off arm is not going to be the magic thing that gets you from 350 to 400. The off arm, I think, is something that, like, if you're throwing 500 feet and you want to throw 520, or if you're throwing 550 and you want to throw 570 or 560, maybe it can have something there. I know Gannon thinks about the off arm a little bit, or, well, he didn't ever think about the off arm. He just thought it was important for me to fix in my form because for me, it was detrimental, which is the other side of the spectrum where if my off arm is coming in here, pushing my whole torso, rotating forward, up in front of my rotating forward before my hips are able to fire, then yeah, it's going to be hurting me because I'm not using my legs almost at all. I'm using like 10% of the force that I'm generating through my legs, which are like 75,000% of my body weight because my legs are way more massive than even me. But getting the off arm out of the way, whether you're like shooting it down, initiating the throw, like I don't necessarily think it's like, oh, this is how you initiate the throw. I just think it's a part of the throw's initiation, potentially. But if it's out of the way, you don't need to fix it. Like, that's kind of how I've been thinking about it. And so, in thinking about that with him, thinking about the head, thinking about leaning too far forward, thinking about my stride being too long, we thought about all those things. And then we initially went out to a field, and he's like, okay, your stride needs to be smaller. And in that field session, that throw that like I threw 390 with the Pathfinder, I think was true. And then watching back that footage as I was like editing that, I was like, dang, I think that slid like 50 feet on the concrete, maybe 40 feet. But I mean, I was throwing fine. I wasn't throwing like crazy. And going into this week, I was throwing like, I felt like if there was a 390-foot hole, I could almost always get there, or at least like give myself a look. If we were creeping in like 405, 410, it's like, okay, let me throw a really good shot. And like 420 or 430 is like, okay, I'm gonna throw a worldie. Whereas now I feel like if I step up to a 425-foot hole and I don't get myself in the circle, I feel like much worse, which obviously comes from this. I feel like pretty bad about it, and I feel like those distances have elongated, and I'm also like still in the very early stages of the off season, which is a big win. But that first day we did that fieldwork session, we went home, we took a ride in his Can-Am, which was sick. He lives like right by this desert track that he made that's in that video, and it was like he was like whipping that thing like 60 miles an hour, just going around these corners. I think it had roll protection, like crash bars, but if it didn't, I'm glad we didn't roll. Drew's like a phenomenal driver. Like apparently he was like national champion go-karter or something, and like you can tell like he might be better at driving than he is at disc golf, or at least like comparable, which is kind of nuts because he's phenomenal at disc golf. But that was a lot of fun to do that with him. Went to bed, woke up the next day, and went into a field and just really overdid it. And this is something that I learned a lot there, and that I really still struggle with. I think it's a part of having ADHD now and like knowing that, but like my ability to stop when I'm doing something that is enjoyable and beneficial is like it's much harder for me because like I like, oh, there's nothing else that's gonna give me that much dopamine, so might as well just continue doing this. And so I really need to learn to like set timers and like finish stuff, because out there, especially in 100-degree heat without a lot of hydration, I ended up throwing in this new way that my body wasn't used to and really making my shoulders super sore. So it really put a damper on both Wednesday and Thursday for the progress that we could make. But on top of that, like after this whole week, and I'm gonna get to basically questions because really it's just like Drew's a cool guy. We had a lot of fun training together, played a lot of fun rounds, shot a lot of fun content. There's not a lot of like crazy behind the scenes stuff that I didn't put into the videos because the videos are like pretty long and all based off of basically what we ended up doing. But the oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. This is so classic. Drew, me, videos. Oh, there's like a trust in the process that you have to have. Obviously, it's helpful to have a coach like Drew who understands the movements and understands the feels. That's the thing that I really wanted was a coach who understood the feel. I wanted someone who threw farther than I ever wanted to throw. Like I would love to be able to throw 600 feet one day. I would love to throw 550 relatively consistently. But I really basically just need or like really really want 500-foot golf lines. Whereas Drew has thrown a disc almost 700 feet before. And like to have someone who like has done that, who is a similar like body configuration to me and who is like smart enough to know why he was able to do that and has studied that form and like taken that time and then been able to actually go out and do it themselves and has felt those feels was really important for me personally in finding a coach. And so that was really helpful for me just to have someone who had done those things so I could like run that by him like, hey, how does this feel when you throw 550 versus like, okay, theoretically, like what are the positions I need to get in? Like, it's a little bit different of a vibe there. And so there's a part that like I've been texting him obviously a little bit. And I think through the whole process, Drew learned that he like isn't super interested in like actually just being a coach. And one of the things that like is one of Drew's weaknesses as a coach is he knows the cues and the feels that have worked for him, but unlike a traditional coach, he hasn't like studied or figured out, okay, these are the things that could work for my students because he doesn't care. He's a disc golfer who wants to throw the disc. He doesn't want to be a coach or maybe a swing coach like way down the line, and maybe he'll learn those things then. But like right now, that's not important to him. And I knew that going into this, and I assumed it going into this, and like it doesn't phase me, it doesn't miff me at all. But like he isn't like, okay, I've thought of this cue. Here's another one that might work for you. He's like, okay, you're gonna have to figure this out, or like we're gonna have to figure this out together because this is what worked for me and it's not working for you. And so like that's where potentially like there could be a benefit to him like if he was to get into coaching to obviously learn those more cues that would work besides just the things that had worked for him. But as I continue to talk with him and like send him some stuff with form and not really expecting too much of like continued coaching, just more so like, okay, am I feeling these things right? Are things looking right? Is it like going a little bit better? But a lot of it has been like, okay, I've just been naturally getting better and more consistent and throwing a little bit farther. And for me, it's been mostly that my mids and putters have been throwing a lot farther. Like I've reached is like slightly downhill, maybe 10 feet of elevation drop. But there's like a 380-foot hole that I parked with my MB at one of the local courses here, and it's like, what the heck? Like, there's no chance I was ever doing that. I got back from Drew's place, and I was stoked that I got my mid range there, and now I'm putting an MB under the basket. And so there's just like you got to trust the process a little bit. You got to continue to put in the work, and the work that will do will compound and show consistency as long as you do it consistently, obviously, and consistency not in moderation, but like in context that like you're not going to lose it if you don't do it for a week. Like this week that I really haven't been training too much, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to go to the field and forget everything. It's like, no, my body might just have had time to like settle in a little bit, rest up. And now my mind and my muscles can connect in a new way. And all that my muscle connection that I did build in all that training is still going to be there. And as long as it hasn't been like a month without touching anything, it's probably going to be fine. Because there was like studies mostly about like lifting and like strength that you don't actually start to lose muscle for 3 weeks. So I don't know if it's the same in terms of my muscle connection or in terms of positions or forms or like flows or skills of the body, but I would assume that it's not like 2 days with like a skill and 3 weeks with muscles. But yeah, so I think there's just something in trust in the process and continuing to try to iron it out. And every day that I have like tried to fix these things, it's gotten closer and closer. Well, not true, not every day, but I like to think about my journey in form stuff. Let me snag a piece of paper. Like this. I'd really like to think about it like, obviously this is time. This is my ability to get as good at the skill as I can. And it's going to look like this. I mean, you guys have seen these charts all over the place. Not quite that low of a dip, but there's going to be higher highs and higher lows and maybe some lower lows, but eventually you're going to end up getting there. It's not like this linear line, which I'm sure you've seen that in a billion other places and whatever, but understanding that with form has been really helpful for me to not feel discouraged when, as a like high achieving, high goal driven person, I'm not exactly where I want to be immediately. So yeah, those are the main things. Let's answer some questions now and check it out. Thank you guys for chilling with the stream. Gosh, shake weight is highlighted right now because when completely Corey said I need a shake weight, that's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I know you throw Pierce for blah blah blah. We already said that. What's been your favorite round this season? I think my favorite round was. It's kind of interesting because my highest rated round this season was 1050 rated. It was my third tournament of the year, first round, and I didn't feel crazy during that round. I like threw shots mostly where I wanted to, but I didn't feel like I was doing what I wanted a lot of times. I was doing good enough. I think my favorite round of the season. It's hard. I don't know if I have one. I wasn't super proud of most of my or super proud or impressed of most of my season. I'm really happy with that I got closer to the results that I wanted. I think my last 4 tournaments I averaged 996, 997, maybe closer to 1,000. So that was really cool. But I think my favorite tournament is probably Battle for Bedford because I was able to battle through the form change and still shoot 997 for the tournament. I really like the playing Ivy Hill. That's a blast of a course. But yeah, I don't know if I honestly have a favorite round right now. Completely Corey. Cough, cough, birdie, marvel. Yeah, the birdie P2 is not going in my bag. No chance You think I'm throwing a P2, dude? Okay. Just for reference, this is the P2. This is my index finger. That is so freaking deep compared to a proxy. Dude, I mean, it doesn't look crazy to you guys maybe, but it's maybe an eighth less for the proxy. So comfy. Too thick. With the double C. Hello, Mr. 3. I'm Mr. Live. Any tips on how to spin the disc faster? Also, what kind of exercises do you suggest to help with being more explosive? The exercise thing is something that I've created a program that I've been on and off with consistency-wise, and I really want to be consistent with it for 2 to 3 months before I really share it. I'm never planning on selling it. I'm not an athletic trainer. I don't want to sell something to you that is not super tested and is not that's not a part of my plan. But for the spin part, I've noticed I get a lot of spin from actually my wrist opening up a little bit, but I also know that that's a problem with my nose upness. So I don't really know on the spin side of things. I'm gonna have to play around with the tech disc and figure out okay, what are ways that I can generate a little bit more spin on the forehand and backhand. Forehand, I'd love to get some more spin. I think my backhand spin average is 12 to 1,400. My forehand's 850 to 1,000. So love to get some more on the forehand, at least according to the tech disc. But for workouts to get more explosive, honestly, I think explosiveness is important, but I also think that hip mobility is super overlooked. My hips are not nearly as mobile as they could be, and if I had more internal rotation of my front hip, which I know I've heard a lot of people talk about internal rotation recently, at least a little bit, where they're thinking about this knee driving as internal rotation, which is true-ish. I think honestly it's more of your brace legs internal rotation because this knee is moving this way, this hip is rotating, and you're using the adductor muscles and your glute medius to kind of bring it in. But the hip that you should feel internally rotating to get this one more is your brace hip because it needs to stay in this position. So right now they're both neutral, and now this hip is kind of coming towards it and moving rotationally, and this hip now has to resist that. And so the more internal rotation that this hip has, the more you can stay completely braced. I am guessing that Calvin Heimberg has absolutely ridiculous brace leg, so right foot hip internal rotation, because of the way that you see he's standing on a tee pad and his knee looks if this is his brace leg, his knee looks it goes backwards and then forward because he has so much internal rotation of his right hip. But I think that hip mobility is super important, shoulder mobility as well, because if this is a position right here, my resting position of my arm, which now, because I actually trained it for a week at a time and then it just stayed because I've been throwing, but my resting position without my lats and my shoulder complex moving up is much more of my wrist underneath my elbow. It could honestly get significantly more like this without me having to strain, so I'm going to continue to work on it. But the position when you get into the power pocket, or whatever you want to think about it as, is this position. And the less that your shoulder and your whole shoulder complex, including your lats, have to raise up to do that, the better you're going to actually be able to use a whip-like movement instead of things being tight. So there's a lot of like mobility I think is important. That'll unlock some explosiveness because I think that form and mobility are both like vectors for utilizing the power that your body can generate through its muscles. And then obviously there are just things like some plyometric movements. I think like split squats are super important, and then like legit throws, like med ball throws and stuff. But I don't know yet. I'm testing it out, and it's something that I don't think is talked about enough, which is what that video in 2 days is going to be about on the main channel. And I'm hoping to be a part of the initial like thought and like testing on myself of what can be achieved not only from the skill of disc golf but also from training the athletic side of disc golf, because both are important. And if I max out my skill, which right now is not maxed out yet because my form is still kind of trash in a lot of ways, it's getting there for sure. But if this skill gets maxed out, that doesn't mean that you're at the end. And it's kind of funny. I've had a lot of people who are like, "Oh, what if just 500 isn't in the cards for you? Like, what if you just like are at your potential?" I'm like, "Do you look at my form and think that my form is at its max?" Like, yeah, if my form was looking perfect and I had a perfect diet and was eating and supplementing correctly and was lifting optimally to make sure that I had the correct like power to weight ratio, then yeah, maybe 500 is in the cards for me if I'm still only throwing 430. But none of those things are even close to the case. So it's like I'm gonna assume that I can do it until I prove to myself otherwise. Is kind of my thought process behind that. All right. Oh gosh. Oh, good. Not too many. Is so enjoyable and calming hearing you passionately talk about this. Thank you. Is that a Herman Miller chair? No, dude. I'm not that bougie. Come on. This is I got it. It's like, I mean, it's for sure a Herman Miller dupe. It is a cheapo guy that I got off Amazon that I cannot see the brand name of. Not cheapo guy. Like I sit in this thing for 57,000 hours a week, so I think it was like $200 or something. I got it on a pretty decent sale. It's pretty money. Has being a creator influencer been better than your other YouTube ventures? What do you? Oh, in disc golf. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, it's been significantly more successful. I think I was very lucky and capitalized on that luck to like come in at the time that I did, and having the skills of like, I mean, it's like anything. It's like my disc golf channel is less than a year and a half old right now, and I'm really grateful for how big it has gotten during that time and like everything that it's afforded to me. And it's like changed my life in a way that I like didn't even think possible in 5 years, let alone the year and a half that it's taken, and it's continuing to take off in crazy new ways. And hopefully will be like groundbreaking for 2024 and beyond for things that I'm able to do, not only as a creator, but also as a sponsored player, ideally. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because for me, it kind of also feels, because it's so fast, of like, oh my gosh, it just happened overnight. And then sometimes I have to like sit back and think, it's like, well, I've started and failed at 4 different YouTube channels, and I have one other one that I worked at for 2.5 years before I even thought about the disc golf side of things, that I got up to like 11,000. And like through all that process and all that trial and error, there's been so much learning and like seeking after more knowledge and understanding and experience, that like it just happened to be the perfect time when I got into disc golf, saw the state of disc golf YouTube, started uploading. People liked the stuff that I was making, and I had the ability, since I had already been working for myself, to really dive in full time. Like so many things had to be in place at the right moment, at the right time, that I'm so like lucky that that happened. I'm very grateful that I was able to capitalize. And I'm super grateful for you guys to have been able to follow the journey. So it absolutely has been, and it's really made me excited to do the other YouTube ventures that I have. Like my channel is just my name, Anthony Bodanza, right now. I haven't posted on like 14 months. And luckily it still like makes me like a little bit of money every month, not too much, a couple $100, but it's something that like for 2024, it's in my cards to like, it's in my business plan to utilize the knowledge of the 350, 400 videos that I posted on the main channel, and then the couple I posted here, to make that channel very profitable, because it's a niche outside of disc golf. And so disc golf is very small. Like I love it, and it's like the bubble that we have, but it's also like 50 times smaller than the potential reach of the other channel. And so if I capture a fifth of the market value, then the channel's 10 times higher, 10 times bigger. And so not that the disc golf stuff is ever going to go away, because this is like my main thing, my main passion. I absolutely love it, but it'd also be really nice to not be reliant on the disc golf market for knowing all of my income. And luckily YouTube isn't like that. Like as long as there's views, whether or not anything sells, I hedged myself in a way that I know that I'll be able to live full time. But to be able to not have to rely on disc golf will also just make creating for the disc golf community significantly more enjoyable, because then I don't feel like I have to take all my living from it. Not in a take, but it's obviously a transaction of like entertainment and value and ever. But yeah, 100%. Thanks for the question. Nice if it not, and double nice if it is. Favorite video you've made besides the Drew series? Honestly, the Drew series I thought I would like it a little bit more. I really like it. I think the master video I put up here tomorrow is going to be awesome. But I think that my favorite video that I've ever made is the backyard barbecue video, the one with Gannon Burr. So far, I think that's one. And then an honorable mention is the Casey Wide Open video from cashing at my first Disc Golf Pro Tour event that I played, which is obviously a silver event, so it doesn't even count anymore. But yeah, I think that the backyard barbecue video was so fun, and I really liked the storytelling that I was able to like. It was like sometimes there's just videos that like, as a storyteller, I go into and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna take so much energy and time on the back end because I have no idea what the story is gonna unfold to be, but I need to capture so much of it just in case so that I have 10 different directions that I can take the story and find which one is the most compelling. And so that one, I think I did a good job of balancing that and creating a really solid video. And the timeless one that I just posted, I think is fun. I think at like 8 a.m. tomorrow morning before the Drew video gets posted on this channel, Banana Froth, subscribe. I think I said that 3 times with live stream, but I'll say it again, subscribe. But there's going to be a 2-minute segment from that timeless video that is its own standalone story that's going to be posted on this channel, which is one of my favorite little segments in a video that I've ever made. But there's always some like recency bias, of course. Yeah, West Coast Florida Fishing. Would you recommend starting a disc golf channel, even though I hardly average plus 6 to 12 through 18? If you have something of value to bring to the disc golf space, definitely. I don't think the score is the ultimate value, but it is significantly easier to have a successful channel the better you are at disc golf, I have found. Because people like watching people who are good at disc golf. Proxy is listed at 1.5 millimeter deep and the ME is 1.4. Perfect for a small hand folk. Honestly, those might be the only putters that I have next year besides a putting putter. I do think I'm going to change from the Piers as well for putting. I think Piers are gone. That's basically the premise of tomorrow's video. Piers are gone. So sad. Any tips on how to be so salty about deeper putters? I don't have any tips on that. You just have to be cool to be salty about deeper putters. Hey, Anthony, very close. How was your day today? It was pretty solid. Well, these days have been very busy. Took my wife to the airport because she's flying out to Orlando to see a concert. I have a proposal to write up. I have to do some field work, film the video, edited 3 videos actually. Spend money. Come back up north and you can throw my Praxis. You might change your mind. The Praxis is the Bullet. So I will not change my mind. They're the exact same disc. They both leased them from MVP. So sorry, Nita. They're the same. This is literally the exact same disc. If you put your Praxis up to this, you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's the same. It's also the same as the Jester Disc Love. And then I don't think there are any. The Remix Discs Eldritch is also the same. They're all the same. They're just discs that MVP leases to these companies. Oh, baby. In your journey past 980, would you say it was mostly just from playing every day, or were you more specifically focused on other things like fieldwork? What is the key to getting that consistency? I think for me, a lot of it was in the playing. The training wasn't the major aspect, but it was also very much getting better at golfing. And the things that I thought about to get to the rating that I am, and the reason why my ratings are like kind of compressed in that like I don't really shoot too much above and too much below my rating, which I think is a problem for now, which I'm going to be rectifying hopefully next year, is I really thought about raising my floor. And that was a lot of what I was worried about, is like making sure that my rounds were above a specific minimum. Like I want to make sure no matter what I shoot above like 970 or whatever. So I think I only have like maybe 4. I think I might have like 5 to 8 rounds that are below 970 and and I think maybe 0 rounds below 970 in the last 3 or 4 months, because I really just thought about raising my floor up. And I didn't really think about how good I could get like in the rounds, because I was so worried about raising the floor, not shooting bad, which I don't think is the best mentality. But I think if you're trying to raise your rating, you have to think about that in some way. And now this next year, my goal is like, okay, I think I'm good enough at disc golf. I have to trust that in a lot of ways, that like I can be aggressive. And like obviously percentage plays, but like stop thinking about not getting a bad rating, because if I do, I'll probably not get a bad rating because I'm not focusing on it. So that was a big part of it. Just join. Cliff Notes. Drew cool. Form hard to figure out and very personal. And thank you for being here. He's running through training with Drew and now answering questions. Bodanza, I'm not that bougie. I'm not. Ian, okay, spend $70 on a shitty SD card. Did you even watch that video? This is the shitty $20 SD card that I bought. I didn't get the $70 one because I'm not. Why would I do that? And these ones, all these are like $20 as well, but they're all super fancy. And also, no, come on, you didn't even realize I didn't buy that. Come on, dude. When are you going to come to Johnny Glow? I hate Glow disc golf. I think it's the worst thing in disc golf. Not the worst. It's my least favorite type of disc golf to play, by far. I don't like sleeping because I'm bad at sleeping, but I would rather be asleep than play disc golf. I don't know why. I can't do it. So I'll come maybe sometime, but probably not. Wild Justice, max standstill distance, 750 feet. I don't know. I don't focus on standstill distance right now. I would guess with the right disc I could probably get to 375, maybe closer to 400, but I think like max I'd be comfortable throwing standstill on a course, maybe 350. I don't know. If you take the plastic of one company and a mold from a different company, what disc would you create? Okay, here's the thing. I can't say it out loud because thankful to you guys. I have a disc in my mind that I really want to create so bad. And it is going to require the right company to make it. And so I'm hoping to pitch it to them this year. A lot of that's going to depend on like contract stuff that happens, but God, I want to make this disc so bad. And I think, and if it happens, that's cool. But to answer your question, that just like brought that to head. If you could take a plastic of one company and a mold from a different company, what would you create? I think I would take the Neutron plastic from MVP, soft Neutron. Soft Neutron is the jam. And I would, what disc? I almost just said, actually, I'm going to say it. No, I'm not. I almost said Pathfinder. I'm not going to say that. Because there's obviously like Ethos Pathfinders. I have that, which is just a Neutron. But it's not soft Neutron, and that's different. But I don't think I would do that. Honestly, I don't really know. I'm not like super attached to any molds right now. All of them could go. Maybe that's just because the headspace that I'm in because I'm trying to get sponsored, but yeah, I don't really know. Maybe. Yeah, the only thing I can think of is like I'm not really a mix and match kind of guy, and so I'm really just trying to think about like it just brought to mind like the disc that I want to create. Oh, that's such a good idea for it. I really hope I'm able to do it. Cracker Barrel Classic has got to be top 5. I really love that video. I hope that I can make more of those. It's definitely a Banana Froth style video though. After discussion in the Discord, are you planning on doing a Gyropalooza box? I'm not planning on doing a Gyropalooza box. Most of my just a little bit of behind the scenes, but a lot of my content, obviously, like there's not a lot of things that I personally get a lot of hype for in disc golf. I love doing mystery boxes, but like I also know that like a lot of like my videos are just like free marketing value for a lot of companies, which comes with the nature of the territory, and there's no problem with that at all. Like it's awesome, you know. I have great relationships with most of these companies, but like something like a Gyropalooza box is something that would be cool, but I don't really need or want any discs personally for the most part. And so like if MVP was to reach out and send me one or something like that, I would 100% make a Gyropalooza box video. Like that'd be sick. But it's not something that like I'm gonna go out of my way to buy, and it's also not something that like I try to be very selective with like when I ask for things, because I don't want to be like that like person, that influencer or whatever, who's just like is always asking for stuff and expecting stuff for free or whatever. And obviously like free is relative because like they send it for free, but then I think they get more than commensurate market value in terms of what the advertising would be. But I also like I don't like giving myself too many obligations as well. So if I really want to do something, I'll do it. If a company reaches out to me, I'll like ponder it and see if I want to do it or not. But yeah, that's kind of why some things happen, some things don't. Like Discmania sends me stuff all the time without like asking for anything. Like I think they literally just sent something my way today that I'm going to be getting probably tomorrow. And it's like, I'll probably make a second channel video for it. And that's a lot of what this channel is for, is like companies, like I want to use this channel because I really love, first off, I'm a human, so I love getting free stuff. Second off, I'm an influencer, so I love getting free stuff. Third of all, I want to give these companies who are up and coming like some sort of a platform, but my main channel is just not the place for that, because there's a certain like standard of topic for a video that's important, because to me topic trumps everything, and then title and thumbnail and then the content. And obviously if all those are phenomenal, it's gonna like the better all three of those are, the better everything is gonna be. But you really need a good topic, and like a lot of these smaller companies or whatever, like there's just not good enough topics. And like I would have to do a lot of heavy lifting on finding the right title and thumbnail, unless like they reach out and like it's a smaller company that has a specific story or something that is already inherently interesting that I think would do well in the meta. But that's why this channel exists, because this channel is much less important to me how the metrics and the numbers are. Of course, I want them to be higher. Like, and I also get to share a lot more of my personality. And the expectation here is much lower than my main channel, obviously, because this is my second channel, and it's just kind of where I'm farting around and being a little goofball like I am. And so, like, if companies send me like the Discraft like Zone GT stuff, like whenever company, if anybody wants to send me stuff, like it'll get a video on Banana Frolf. Because why not? Whether it's like a couple throws in a field or 9 holes on a course, like who knows what it's going to end up being. But like I want to give these companies some sort of value if they do decide to send stuff my way. But most of them just like they can't be main channel videos. So that's kind of where that is. So that was a long way to answer if I'm going to do a Gyropalooza box video. Welcome to my life. RP Pures, if you could design a disc, what would it be? Not telling you, but a neutral to semi-flippy fairway driver. KMD47, not a competition. Adam Holloway, yo, Chris, like as in like I'm not competing with him because we're buddies. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. That would have been. Whoa, you could take that a couple different ways. How would you feel about a fun pros versus creators disc golf challenge series? I feel like that's kind of what I tried to do with my channel. I think that it would be less interesting than people think. Maybe I don't really know. I have a lot of I have a lot of thoughts in general about the disc golf creator space right now that I'm not sure kind of where it is. In terms of value and in terms of like, it's interesting because disc golf is so insular that things get blown up and are brushed aside easier. If you understand at all what I mean, which I half understand what I mean, but kind of like a pro-am in golf, like I think it'd be really cool. I just also don't think. I think the main problem with this is logistic. Like whenever an idea gets pitched to me or a thought is like, I less think about it like, oh my god, like let me think about the outcome, and I just start thinking about the logistics of it because that's kind of like. I want to think, okay, what are the operating costs to make sure that this happens? Is it going to be even remotely profitable? How does everyone get together? Like, how many videos can we make? Because volume is super important in disc golf since the average view counts for like a sport type thing are relatively low. So you have to have high volume of videos to get solid views. So it's like, that's kind of where my mind goes. And I think that it would be awesome. Like, it'd be super fun. But I'm trying to think, like, who would put up the money to make it worth it for everybody? And I don't know if anybody would. But it'd be sick. I would be so down. I would 100% be there. But yeah. If I was invited. I just started disc golf this year, and I'm very excited to start doing tournaments next year, and I just got PGA rating. Woo! But it's going to be hard because I generally have work to Saturdays. True. There's a lot of Sunday tournaments, too, so we'll sleep on those, or flex starts during the week sometimes. What was it like hanging out with Foundation dudes? I always enjoy Connor. Yeah, they were a lot of fun. It was harder than I wanted it to be, unfortunately, because this is funny. I guess we'll talk a little bit about Battle for Bedford, because that tournament, I got into town, woke up after 6 hours of sleep because I had to get a video up. One of the Drew videos. Woke up after like 6 hours of sleep or something, 5 hours of sleep. Went and played New London. And then I played New London 2 more times that day. Then I woke up the next day and I played Ivy Hill, which is also a 12,000 foot course. So that's 36,000 feet of disc golf so far. And then after we got done with Ivy Hill with my buddy Josh, who you've seen on the channel before, we went and played New London again. So that's 48,000 feet of disc golf. And that was the day before the tournament. And then we played another 36,000 over the next 3 days. So over 5 days, I played 84,000 feet of disc golf. And then I got done with my tournament, the last round, which you guys see on the channel, hopefully. And I didn't like how I played, so I went and played New London again. So 96,000 feet of disc golf, essentially, in 5 days. Almost 20,000 feet of disc golf a day, which is basically, we'll call it 3.5 miles of throwing a disc, and not only throwing single shots most of the time per day. So I woke up Monday morning and my SI joint on my right hip, my brace leg, was feeling it, and it only got worse for my whole time in Lynchburg. And so I was flying out Friday, so I was like excited. I was like, I'm gonna film an MV only video shooting from the longs at New London because I think I can shoot pretty well. I'm gonna shoot some stuff at Independence Park. I'm gonna knock out all these videos. I'm gonna do these collabs with Foundation, and it just ended up that I was too hurt. So I filmed the Goliath video, which you guys have seen, the Paul Macbeth's house course. And then I went and played with the Foundation guys 2 days in a row. And we filmed those 4 videos. One of them went on their channel. 3 of them went on mine because we lost the footage on one of them and they didn't want to put it on their channel. And so I was like, can I please put it on my channel? These videos are doing good. And it is good ad rates right now. And they're like, sounds good. So I appreciate those guys a lot for that. That was honestly like a massive win for me. So I really appreciate them for that. That was really generous. Yeah, so unfortunately I only got those 4 videos in those last 5 days, and I was planning on getting probably 10 to 12 videos done. So that was a little disappointing. Luckily, I thought that I could have like hurt myself from something. It ended up just being that my glute medius was ridiculously sore, and so it got better because that was just getting so much overwork from all that time. And so I got back, and I haven't had that problem ever since. Luckily, it's not actually an injury, but that was really, really disappointing that I wasn't able to do more than that, unfortunately. Cool. But yeah, the guys are really fun. G Star, Halo, Metal Flake. Just what the heck? That'd be crazy. Play around left-handed. I have thought about that. That might be that. If anything, that's gonna be a banana froth video because I'm kind of interested in doing that and just seeing like, okay, how's my proprioception? Like, do I understand all these form things and can I put it into a disc? I might have to do it at Johnny Roberts, which is the super short pitch and puck course. See if I can shoot under par. My first time ever playing around left-handed. Okay, I'm writing that down. That's a good idea. Dang it! Why do you come up with good ideas that I now have to go into? Can I shoot under par my first round left-handed? At Johnny Roberts. Let me know if you want to put any stakes on that. Not like a steakhouse steak, but yeah, let me know. When are you going to film something with Eagle? I don't know. I don't know Eagle yet. I met his dad and I played with his girlfriend a little bit. We played some doubles, like just became buddies and went out for dinner and with one of my other friends, a couple of my other friends. But I don't know Eagle yet, so maybe sometime. But that's something where I try not to pressure that. I like to capitalize on opportunities as they come. And if there's a good reason for me to create that opportunity, I'll do it. But I don't like to I personally don't like to reach out to people without pitching them an idea. I feel like it's a little bit less business professional of like, hey, do you want to film something? And like that puts someone in a weird position. Like I've gotten that request as well of people reaching out and like this is if you ever want to reach out to me or anybody else, I would just say like they'll just say, hey, do you want to film something? Or hey, I'll be in your area. Do you want to film something? It's like, hey, I'll be in your area for this amount of time. Is there any time in your schedule to film something? These are my ideas. And reaching out with ideas that are concrete makes it significantly better. And like right now, I don't have a great idea for Eagle, especially just understanding his situation where right now he just had surgery. Like if I did have a really good idea, then maybe and so like that's my philosophy behind it and like how I try to maintain really good relationships with a lot of these people. So yeah, general thought. Film with Dickerson or Melton in Tennessee. That'd be a lot of fun. Those guys are blast. Regarding sponsorship, what is the main thing you need them to do for you? Signature discs. Give me money. Give me a little bit of money for the channel, or like a solid amount of money, which is not necessarily salary, but more so based off of video production and advertising. And like my deliverables would be like, hey, you're my channel banner. You're my bio. You're the only place that I link to discs. You're my profile picture. And on Instagram and on Banana Froth as well, which are basically going to be free because the main channel is basically the RPMs or the CPMs that I'm going to be asked for. There'll be a little channel intro bumper like Simon has that'll have that branding in it as well. And then that's kind of like the stuff that I'm mocking up, like actually like creating now so the companies can potentially visualize that and then be like, oh, it is worth the amount of money that he's asking for. And then the main thing for me, where like for me, I feel like they'll be able to get value in me by utilizing me for marketing and then also in the value of the videos and the sales that come from that, which I won't ask for anything from. But then I would want like a good rate per video or a good guarantee, a decent. And then on top of that, getting that is obviously based on like a discount on fair market value for what that would be since they'd be buying a year of it. And then also Tour Series discs. That's really important to me because having distribution is massive. Having to sell everything myself, fulfill everything myself, buy everything, all that is difficult. And on top of that, I have no retail distribution. So I could probably work out those deals, but that's such a pain in the ass to try to figure out. Of like, okay, let me get into this store and this store, whereas they have this distribution network. So like what I would ask is that if I do have this, like if I do get a deal and I do get a Tour Series disc or multiple or signature disc, and they'll run custom stamps and stuff for me as well on top of the signature stuff, which would be it. But it's like go to your local retailer and be like, hey, can you buy the Bodanza disc so I can buy them from you? And that way, more retailers are getting them, more people are buying them, and the distribution that I have myself is significantly less than what that would be, on top of also just having a company backing. So that's kind of the main thing that I'm looking for. Your video about training and health a while back was really interesting. Do you still have daily workout routine instead of disc golf, like weight training, injury prevention techniques, etc.? Yeah, I have a program that I've created that I've been much less consistent than I'd like to be with, but it's a 5-day split. I'm actually going to be working on a 3-day split as well because some weeks are weeks that I feel very confident I can do 5 days. Weeks like right now where I'm really trying to capitalize on Q4 here on YouTube are weeks that I really should just be doing 3 days. And so that's kind of where that is. But yes, for sure. Are you still planning to make a shoe video? Videos didn't last very long, and now I'm trying Vivos. I really like the Vivos. Curious to know your opinion. Yeah, I'm planning on it. I think it'll be a main channel video. It might it's honestly, I think it's gonna be over here. A lot of that video, the point of that video, a big part of it is like affiliate sales. Like I have an affiliate link with IDEO. I'm trying to get I would love to get sponsored by Vivo. That would be massive. I love them. I have like my Merrells that I use. I don't think the big thing is I don't think there's any best disc golf shoe. There's best shoes for people, I guess, but I haven't found one that I think is like just this is the best disc golf shoe. And so I was planning on like hoping to find one of those and making that video, but instead now it's just gonna be like kind of a buyer's guide, which probably isn't a main channel idea. It'll go over here and it'll do hopefully well and hopefully generate decent affiliate sales, but it'll probably be a second channel video, a banana froth video that I make probably within the next week or two, I would guess, just because Christmas is coming up, so it's the right time to do that. Stop solid. Rate Virginia Disc Golf 1 to 10. I live about an hour north of Lynchburg, so I am biased. I don't know, but all the Lynchburg courses that I played, well, the good Lynchburg courses that I played, I'll give solid 9 out of 10 of the places that I've been. I feel like the disc golf creator space in general, like channel size, people are either pros or companies. There's not many larger individual creators. Yeah. I know a guy who refuses to use forehand and goes left-hand backhand instead of mild success. That's kind of crazy. Foot golf seems pretty cool. Might be a fun vid idea. I would love to try foot golf. Probably won't film it. I'd rather just like go enjoy my time doing it, but I would love to play foot golf. I miss playing soccer. I got to do that more. Do you plan to work on your roller at all or other unique shots? Yes, absolutely. I think the roller for me is something that it's a shot shape that I don't think is like ridiculously difficult, but it is ridiculously difficult for me because of how nose up I'm throwing, which I talked a little bit earlier in the stream about how I think a lot of that is the way that I pop the disc at the end of its flight is instead of just being like that, like normal, it's kind of up. So I pop the nose up, unfortunately. It's something I have to just kind of train out of myself, I guess. But I don't think it's a ridiculously difficult shot if you can just throw anhyzers with flippy discs. Obviously, figure out the shot shape will be really important of like how it actually rolls on the ground. But for now, I need to iron out my form itself because working on rollers without having the correct form anyways is going to not matter because if my form changes, the roller is going to change. But 100%, that's something that I think is necessary to have on tour if you want to be at that top level, which is something that I'd strive to do. Would you consider taking a social media management position with the disc golf company? No, no chance. No chance. And still have a channel. I do not want to work for anybody. No. Are you making any changes after passing your test on Monday? I have a prescription that Costco is supposed to be messaging me about. It's more so just helpful to have understanding of what it is. And test for people who are coming in is I got diagnosed with ADHD officially, which I was like, people have guessed. I've guessed with myself. My wife did it for a while. Her mom's like, hey, maybe you should get tested. So I went and got tested, and because her mom is a psychologist as well. Maybe psychiatrist. I don't quite remember. I think she's a psychologist. She doesn't have an MD. But yeah, and so I got diagnosed with ADHD officially, and it's just more so helpful to like I didn't want to assume that I had it before I was diagnosed with it, and so I didn't want to like necessarily even learn too much about it or like operate in a way that as if I did have it. And so now it's been helpful just like I will have like medication that I can take on an as needed basis, which I really like the spontaneity of my life, which a lot of that comes from having high functioning ADHD, and I like a lot about who I am even though I have it, and a lot of it because of the fact that I have it, but things that are just like a little bit more mundane. Like my kitchen is a little messy right now, and it's gonna take all my willpower to go and do that. And so like maybe taking one day a week, the stimulant that I got, you can probably guess what it is. Well, I don't want to say because I don't want it to be this video to be demonetized, even though this channel's not even monetized yet. So I'll just say Adderall, but that's what you get for ADHD for the most part. Because for me, it's more difficult to like start anything, and so it just releases the dopamine, which like what was helpful to learn. Like people with ADHD, myself, are like you have a much higher threshold for yourself to release dopamine. So like I am much more like addicted to screens and like have to like be overstimulated and have bigger goals and do all these things. And so Adderall helps you to release that dopamine easier. It just automatically releases it, and it blocks the reabsorption of it, which is what Ritalin also does, but it doesn't just release it. And so in getting diagnosed with that and then getting that prescription, which I got diagnosed on Monday, and so I didn't get called today. So I'm probably going to call Costco tomorrow to see if they have it, but they might have had to order it out because I know that there's a supply chain issue right now. But it's something that like I hope my prescription lasts me a year or two. Like I don't need to take it every day. I'm not going to take it every day. I don't want to build up a dependency. I want it to actually be useful whenever I take it, and I only want to take it for like I'll probably honestly plan to take it and because there's a lot of like habit things that I want to figure out as well that will help me with this, that isn't necessarily just medicating, because I don't think that it's not the only thing. It's probably the most helpful thing in the moment, but it also has the most side effects compared to just like working with my wife at creating really, because she's really organized, really good at it, like creating a really solid organizational structure that like was really helpful with my office. My office is now, it doesn't look crazy organized, but it's very, very organized, and like everything has a place. And now doing that with my digital life as well. And then building the correct systems to make everything happen. And so the more mundane tasks, like I haven't done my accounting in 4 months, which is fine. Like I don't have to pay quarterlies yet. I didn't make enough money last year to have to worry about that. I just have to do it by the end of the year. And like I have much more trouble like getting to bed on time and doing the dishes. And so like if there's just a day that I can schedule, it's like, okay, I'm gonna take Adderall today and then knock out all my boring tasks for the week. Get it all done, not have to worry about it too much, and then do that. And then another big thing is just like realizing, hey, I should probably exercise in the morning, because exercise releases dopamine. So if I'm able to do that, then I get that earlier in the day and my days will be better. And if I'm also in a really bad state, then there's just a lot of things that it was really helpful with. And it doesn't change a whole lot of like who I am or want to be, but it's just helpful to understand the things that are helpful and detrimental to me. So like I never had a problem with drinking, but I would drink a couple drinks a week, but that is because it's such a depressant, that is much worse for someone like me than someone who doesn't have ADHD. And so I was planning on cutting out alcohol anyways, just for health reasons, and now there's just an additional reason. So it just gives additional reasons and additional understanding for like who I am. So that was pretty helpful to get that diagnosis. So yeah, thanks for asking. Uh-oh. How profitable is your Christmas Vlogmas space? Seems a lot. Do that, and was just curious. Uh, I am very, very happy with how this month has been going. Very happy, and I think next month will continue to do well. Yes, that is. I am very grateful for you guys. Very grateful. Do you think an online course from pros can suffice for in-person pro training? Absolutely not. What's your dream card? Oh my gosh, I think my dream card would be Simon, Drew, and Cole, Redalin, or Gannon. A mixture of those four people. Just my buddies who are right now significantly better than me, who one day I want to be as good as them. And like when I think of dream card, I don't think, oh, let me just play in a tournament with them. My dream card is second or third round, not at the bottom. Like they don't play bad. I play good and I play with those guys. Like that would be a dream, dude. I would love that. But with people that, and like I don't know, they're just buddies, so it'd be a lot of fun. But and it'd obviously be serious, but it'd also be like, wow, like I made it. Like to get on a car with those guys, they're not playing bad. Let's go. So yeah. Any more mountain golf videos that you're waiting to drop? Not that I'm waiting to drop, but all those mountain golf videos are going to be on this channel, Banana Froth. They're not going to be going on the main channel. They do not do nearly as well as any of my other styles of content, which is good to know. And that's kind of something where I'm going to be using these channels semi-interchangeably, where it's like series that I like to do. Like I like to go and film those videos. They're a lot of fun for me, but they just don't do very well. And the expectation that I have when I'm filming a video for my main channel is very different than the expectation that I have when I'm filming a video for Banana Froth. So I'm going to film those with the expectation that they go on Banana Froth, and they're all going to go on there. And maybe there's some series that I start here on Banana Froth, or like just a bunch of types of videos, and they're like, oh my gosh, these are always doing almost main channel numbers. So let's go ahead and just start throwing those on the main channel instead, and beef them up a little bit, make them a little bit more interesting, and so a little bit more involved, like a little more edited, a little more storyboarding time. And so that's kind of how that's going to be. But yeah, I want to play some more. I have no plans to. I don't like playing in the snow or in like bad footing, because I don't feel like it's super beneficial towards like training. Because when I'm playing tournaments that are consequential for me, which is most tournaments that I play, I'm not going to be playing in the snow. Like I don't plan to play any snow tournaments. So going out and playing where there's like a really crappy footing because of the snow, not necessarily as fun for me, but it's still just fun to get those rounds in, and I would enjoy doing it, especially if I like got Josh or someone. Does my wife play at all? No. She does not play. Kids are in the plan eventually. Would you rather have a bigger single company sponsorship or less money for an open bag sponsorship? This is a very important question right now. It would depend. There's like a specific number. Obviously, like a single manufacturer would have to pay me a lot more than a retailer for me to sign with them, because it would potentially limit a lot of what I'm able to do. Not necessarily as much, because I've not been posting as many disc reviews recently, but I do like doing the disc reviews. And I also I like the vibe of open bag, and so like ideally open bag, because I like that. And it also means that you can have tour series discs, multiple instead of just one, because I can have one from like kind of like the Eric Oakley James Proctor model, where Eric Oakley has a Pathfinder and he had a Theosis from Alpha Discs, and he has the Bjorg that he ran, which are just custom discs, but it's a little bit different. And like Drew has the Kotuku, and he has his like Finish Line brand, and he has the Scepter, and like Eric, I don't even know if he has the Dynasty at Infinite. And so like something like that would be helpful, like that kind of model. Andrew Huberman has a pretty good podcast on ADHD. I call him Daddy Hubes. My wife calls him Father Huberman. Yeah, it's funny. I should not have said that, but yeah, I'll probably listen to the one on ADHD. I really like a lot of what he is talking about. It's what I've been doing. I have the same kind of ADHD. Sick. What was your experience doing content with the Bogey Bros Foundation? I already answered that a little bit above, but essentially, really, really fun guys. A lot of fun. Very different vibe for me because I didn't film any of it. I had Silas filmed all of it, which I didn't. Was cool, but I would have preferred a little bit higher production from like using lav mics and stuff. But I also like didn't want to mic up 4 people because I only had total of 3 lavs, and so I'd probably had to do something else. And it's just nice to like be able to have them use it. It was a little weird just because I didn't have I didn't feel as in control as I do in my normal videos when I was filming, and then I also like just a bigger group of people, and I typically am just like 2 people max in videos for me, maybe 3, but like 2 is like the most that I really want to be in videos because it's significantly easier to shoot and edit. But it was a lot of fun to play with them, and they were just really good guys as well. It'd be so much fun to watch your dream card coverage. Yeah, that'd be a blast. I've been playing about a year and average about 950 to 980, but have only had self training from YouTube. I'm wondering how I can get lessons with really good players, or if I can without having the outreach. Yeah, I mean, I think most players do lessons. You just find, I'll just look up who the pro is in your area, and if it's a pro that you like their form or you think that you like their training, there's lessons in most areas, I'd say. And if you go into the Facebook group, you say, hey, does anyone do lessons? And then yes or no if you want to do it with them. Are there any pros who you want to collab with that you haven't done so far? Yeah, almost all of them. I mean, I think the top ones on the list are, of course, going to be, the top one on my list is Chris and Tatar. That's the GOAT. That would be the GOAT collab, in my opinion. And then Paul Macbeth is way up there. Verky would be a lot of fun on card. AB would be a lot of fun on card. A secret dream of mine, which I don't think is going to happen, but like if I did tour, we could have like AB and me doing doubles versus another team, like at a lot of tournaments. That'd be a lot of fun. Just have like the shortest and tallest person on tour who both have the same initials. That'd be sick. But yeah, there's a lot of people. What slot would you choose as a signature disc if you got one? I would love multiple. For me, I think a lot about it as a business decision. I want a signature disc that people are going to buy because of my name, but also because they like the disc. So like nothing ridiculously overstable unless it's approach disc, but I have thoughts on what they would be. And like I said earlier in one of the questions, like if it was an open bag kind of deal, then you could have multiple that would fill different slots as well. Adam, got your hands on a Rolo yet? I don't have a Rolo yet, but one got shipped to me today. Shout out Another Round out of Charlotte. The guys who've been doing all the content with the Rolo on Instagram. I put that up partially hoping that they would see it and want to send me one, but also just like I was just going to borrow one locally to play with my buddy as well. And yeah, he's like, yeah, I'll send you one. So that was clutch. Big shout out to him. You seem like the kind of person who is into stocks. Any truth to that? Yeah, I'm definitely into stocks. I'm very into investing. I have a business, or not a business plan, but just like an investment plan that is very, I say robust, but robust makes you think complicated. It's not super complicated. A lot of it had to do with like just my wife and I getting out of debt for moving into here, and then like investing a lot into the channel. But luckily that has just happened, and so now it's basically our whole like stock plan is just put money in the S&P 500, max out a Roth IRA, and get her employer match, and then we're going to be also getting the match on an HSA, and then saving for house for now, and that alone, all that, I think that's like enough to retire all right. And then I am also into stocks in a way that like when I have enough disposable income, I'll probably open a silly little Robinhood account that I have like $500 to start in to do swing trading and stuff just for fun because it excites me, and I'm a big numbers guy. So yes, I'm very much, I used to be way more into stocks, not as much anymore, but I would like to get back into them. They're a lot of fun. When's the next Johnny Putter reviews? Probably one of my favorite series. I don't know. There's not a putter that I want to review right now. I am going to be starting a new series, though, called The Search for the Worst Disc Ever Made. I was thinking about doing it at Johnny, but I think instead I'm going to do it at a course called Owl's Den. But the first one, it's going to be this disc, the Franklin Disc Albatross. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to do that series because it's going to be like this disc. I had that mystery box video from Trash Panda. Like, I don't even think it's throwable. And so, excuse me. Like, I want to see if I can even, like, if I can not quit playing a full round with just this disc. And, like, a part of it is hopefully going to be, like, trying to learn to throw Skamahawk or something. But, yeah, I want to throw that. I think that's a good title and thumbnail in my opinion. And I think that the series will end up doing pretty well. But I don't have anything for the Johnny Putter reviews yet. There's no real putters that I think people are super into. False. This mania is sending me a P3X. I might do that. Maybe. I'm going to put that in the potentials list. I think it would be all right because the P3X is a pretty popular disc. Yeah, P3X, Johnny Putter reviews. Thank you guys for these ideas. I was getting mad at you, but you guys just give me good ideas. You're just giving me work, though. I'm excited, though. But yeah, I think this mania said that they're sending me an MD5 and a P3X, and hopefully they're dummy-proofing the black box for me since I was such an idiot about it. But yeah, so yeah, thanks. That's a great idea. I appreciate it a lot. Tatar be sick. Yes. Jonathan and Tatar collab. Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language, baby. I put money on AB plus AB beating Brody and Ezra. Ooh. We got to find a way to put that on FanDuel or something. That'd be a lot of fun. I want that Bodanza signature Pathfinder. Probably will never get a signature Pathfinder. Pathfinders, I don't think are going to stay in the bag. I think they're gone. They're too flippy. They're too finicky. Maybe it's just the ethos ones that I have, but I really started to hate them at Battle for Bedford because I really wanted something that would, like, I could throw hard and flat that wouldn't turn much, but would go dead straight and finish a little. Just is not it. It's maybe a little too fast. I don't really know, but on top of that, too, like, Eric Oakley already has it as a signature, and I don't think he's leaving Thought Space this year. But, yeah, that is a... Yeah, I need to find a new mid for next year, unfortunately. Other Adam, do you remember your first disc or original bag? Original bag was... The first bag I ever got was, like, the cheap old Innova $20 one. And then, so, I'm going to do a disc collection video at some point. This is literally all the discs that I own right here. Plus... yeah, those. Oh, perfect. That's actually the whole thing. We'll just keep it. Oh, nice. I moved it back. I love that I'm on a delay on my computer screen, so I can't see this. Oh, that's the opposite way. God, I'm so stupid. Not actually, but come on. Come on. Come on. Everyone's living. Oh my gosh, Anthony. What is wrong with me? Why did that take me so long to do? Yeah, I have my bag here. All the discs that I own are in this room right now. I'm pretty sure. 99% sure. But yeah, I'm not a super sentimental guy. All these are like fieldwork-ish discs. All these are discs to review. All these are discs to like have for reviews, which I'm gonna like put the proxies actually going in the bag. I'm gonna put like actually I'm not putting the pure there because the pure is gonna go to patrons as a part of the giveaway, like a chance for giveaway. But like this will also get refilled because I just ran those mystery boxes where I got rid of all my extra discs, and I think I probably average like a disc a day. No. Like I say average because sometimes I get like 10 discs. I'd say probably a disc every other day is kind of what I average in a year of what companies send me, which is really cool. But it's like a lot of times it's like, oh, no, that's not true. Maybe 10 discs a month. So every 3 days. But these guys are all like the giveaways for patrons that I have available. And then this is kind of like my sentimental stack up here. I'll just show you guys now. But this is why I'll probably wait to do like a disc collection video. But I'll show you these guys. These guys are cool. Most of them are like stamps that I've had. So I'll actually move one of these over to the... I'll actually definitely move one of these over. The pures. We'll start with these guys. These are not the first discs I ever had, but these 2 pures are part of the first stamps that I ever ran, which was last November. It's insane to think about the fact that was a year and 2 weeks ago that I ran these for the first time, because everything in my life has changed since then. Holy crap, that's nuts. But yeah, first run, Bodanza Disc Golf. I just cutely wrote first run, and people hated that I wrote first run on a custom stamp. That's funny. Then I got a Cash Stash Mana, which I like, and a Cash Stash Raider, which is still new because it was one of the 3 discs that I didn't put in the mystery boxes that I just ran because didn't have enough. And then I have the Nate Turner collab, Mako 3, kind of like the signature disc from that collab, which is the Ducker stamp, which I'm stoked on. I have kind of the signature disc from the Broderick collab, besides the Glitch and the Zone, which are already in my bag. My Buzz SS from the Broderick collab is right there. And then a couple sentimental discs-ish, not quite. this is also just like kind of a business decision too to keep this. Is this time lapse is not the one that I played with this Simon, but I got this when I bought my dealer allotment, 10 of them. Since I ran custom stamps for them, I was able to get them, and then I gave 8 of them to patrons. One of them I saved for reviews, which I just posted that video, and then this one is the last one, which is the same colors as the one that I played with Simon. So I'm not a really sentimental guy, but I was like, maybe I'll hold on to that for a little bit. The last like 4 or 5 discs I have in here are this. I don't think I'm gonna keep this for much longer. Honestly, I might actually just sell this one. I would give it to patrons, but I might sell it because it might be worth like something. I'll have to see. If it's worth less than $50, I'm just gonna give it to a patron. But it's the Paul Macbeth 5 Claw TI Undertaker that Discraft gave me in the box that they sent me. That was awesome, mystery box stuff. And then this is a Infinite Discs Knob Camp Out, which is the first tournament that I ever played. So I played at MA2 in Kanab, Utah, and this is a iBlend Pharaoh 167, absolute freaking bomber disc. Yeah, kind of insane, really cool. Oh, of course, nice, nailed it. But yeah, so that's the first tournament officially that I ever played. This is the first. This I kept because it's just cool to have like an inner core that Jesse sent me, and like the first ever fully recycled disc. He sent me these because I was able to throw the prototypes that he had for one of my first videos that actually did decently on YouTube. And then this was a really beautiful ace, and so I just kept this one. I don't have most of my ace discs, but I kept this one because it's not just an ace disc; it's also a gift from my buddy Jesse, and one of the first run of the inner cores. And then the last 2 discs are kind of like the oldest ones in my collection by far. I'm just gonna throw these all back up real fast. Wow, so organized. This disc is from Tucson, Arizona. It is the first disc golf thing that I ever did. It was February 26, 2022. It was a month and 8 days after my first round that I ever played, and this is an ESP zone. It's very flippy now. The Groves 7th Annual Ace Race. There's a course in Tucson, like 9 holes down and back. You play from 2 different tee pads. You go around the park and then around again. And they set up like a little ace race course. I think I got like 3rd in it or something. Maybe worse. I don't know. I was like in first at the intermission, or tied. And they gave me an Undertaker, which I threw into. Ooh, nice voice crack. Give me some more water. I threw that into a field that eventually got mowed over in Maricopa. I played at one of the courses that they play the Maricopa Open at. I think it was Big or Sky something, Copper Sky. I don't know. But this is the first disc golf thing that I ever did, and so I'm keeping the CSP zone around. And the first disc that I got 5 discs from my buddy Sam, so the way I got into disc golf was last December, or 2 Decembers ago. Jeez, that is not that long. Holy crap. I was living in a van, and I stopped at a park in Chattanooga. And this might have been early January. It's like probably January 1st. We had an ultimate disc in the van, and there was a disc golf park there. If you were from Chattanooga, this place was right behind the Bass Pro Shops that's there, and whatever park that is. There's like a rec center and stuff as well. And so I went and just like played around that course with the ultimate disc. No idea what my score was. I was just kind of messing around, having fun. I told my buddy, who was a disc golfer, who I met in Orlando, was a good buddy, and lived in Kansas City at the time, who we were going to go through and visit in the beginning of January. And he's like, "Oh, I'll give you some discs, dude." And I was like, "Oh, good. I need a hobby living in a van." Little did I know that this is what the hobby would turn into. But he ended up giving me 5 discs. He gave me a Z Swirl Nuke. I think I know most of these now just because of how much I've gotten into disc golf. A Champion Monster, some random Innova mid-range, a DX Leopard, and this AVRX3, which is an XT AVRX3. This was in my bag, obviously, for a decent bit. It's the first disc that I ever had, and it was already used by him. So, like, if I am open bag or on Team Innova for whatever reason, and, like, if it ever happens that I'm in contention to win a tournament or something like that, this disc is staying with me. And if I can tap out, I'm going to tap out with this. But, yeah, that's kind of the thought process now. That was the first disc ever. Thanks for letting me go down memory lane with you guys. Move this back a bit, make sure that I'm still good. Okay, nailed it. What disc have you most recently fallen in love with that you weren't expecting to? Ooh, that's a good question. Which one did I put in my bag that F9, baby. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. It's so dumb. And then the interval as well. Because I'm like, I liked Drew and whatever. And I got the interval and I started throwing it before. Oh, this one, the interval, money, the finish line interval. And then the Lux Vapor DD. This thing bombs. I guess I'm liking the flippy stuff right now, I guess. Maybe I'm just more of a Heiser guy. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not been loving overstable discs recently. I don't know what that is. Albatross. Thought Space Muse or Numa? Tried their Nerf Classic. I think I probably putted with those in my Thomas Gilbert videos from last offseason. I don't remember it all though. Speaking of the Johnny Putter series, have you tried the Pace putter with Drew while you were there? Yeah, I've thrown the Pace. I don't like it very much. It's similar to a P2, very deep for me. I had a Pace for a while. I just sent them out in mystery boxes. They had just sent me the James Proctor one. I'm just not the massive fan of it. Need to get Mr. Panda's Premium Albatross? That'd be cool. I didn't know they made that. Lost my ND5 in a pond. No! Replaced with a Walker. Not the same. Yeah. They definitely feel different. Walker definitely feels a lot more aggressive, I think. I haven't thrown anything Lone Star in ages. Somehow, Josh, if you're watching this, Josh Hofstra, send me some Lone Star stuff. We can definitely make some Banana Frog videos with it. Speaking of Ezra and Brody, could do a Challenger SS versus Roach. That'd be cool. I don't think it'd do crazy well, but that'd be cool. Hex. No. I don't like the Hex very much. It's a little shallow. And I want something more stable than the Hex. I want something that beats into the flight of the Hex, but starts out more stable. There's not a lot of discs like that, unfortunately. British Ultra and Marvel are pretty solid. Yeah, I bag an Ultra. Don't like the Marvels too much. They're a little deep. Seem to be mentioning the interval more in videos since you're training. Has it always been in the bag, or is it a recent addition, or did you start to like it more and more since training? No, before I went to go and play with Drew, I actually posted a reel on my Instagram. I post like nothing on Instagram, so it's probably like the second thing I posted, which was like 2 months ago. Or second thing ago. But the interval, they had sent me one, and I like went to take it out, just like film some stuff, because like Drew was a friend, and I was like, of course I'll throw something on Instagram, put something up, it'll be awesome. And I like birdied a 420-foot hole with it, and then parked a 360 40 or 340 foot hyzer or something. It's like, this thing's kind of nasty. And I took it just because I knew I would be training with Drew in Arizona, and the more I threw it, the more I just loved the flight out of it. It's like between an 11 and 13 speed. It really reminds me of a Grace, honestly. Don't tell anybody, because if by the grace of God I get the intervals of signature disc, I'm going to use that as marketing all over the place. Since the Grace is a disc that I used to throw all the time, because it's like the Grace seems like it has a similar rim to a Destroyer, but slightly smaller, which is similar to the interval. And it also doesn't move as much left to right, which is similar to the interval, and it's also not crazy stable, which is similar to the interval. So I think it's the most comparable thing to a Grace, maybe a Wraith as well. So those are all probably in the same vein. But Mega 3 is the flippiest thing in the world. What are you talking about? Try Rollo. Rollo's so much fun. Had the same issue with Pathfinder getting too flippy. Switched to the Hex instead. Nice. I should rotate them regularly. Not a believer in seasoning things. You should probably season your food at least. Try to Glow Reactor. Probably one of my top 5 favorite discs. Maybe Pathfinder replacement at your power. I actually ran Glow Pathfinders or Glow Reactors. I think they're good. I don't know, something about them. You know, you might be right. I might have to revisit the reactor. We'll see. As my form finalizes, as contracts hopefully finalize, if any contracts materialize, then I'll start to do a lot more thinking about that. But yeah, what do you compare the interval to? Okay, I just answered that. F9, so much fun. Neutron or Prism Pyro? Pyro's money, but it's too stable for what I'm thinking. I'm thinking much less stable than that, but still like hit it hard and it'll go flat, no turn and finish. The Pyro wants to kind of get left a little faster. Thoughts on the Magician and the 6 speeds. The Magician that's like a really flippy 12 speed, right? I don't think I've ever thrown the Magician disc. I don't think I've ever thrown it. Okay, Discmania says, 6402. Never mind. Never thrown it. No idea. I think 6 speeds are fun. They're not really for me. Like, I'm not gonna bag any of them, but I think they're fun. They're definitely interesting. Like the Zombie's cool. The Cax is cool. The Caxa. The Magician, I don't know. I think they're a very specific person to throw 6 speeds. The Trident I know is one. I don't know. You should try one of the new Supreme EMAC Truths. Much more stable than a Lucid. I don't know. I for some reason, I bagged EMAC Truths my first year playing, and I really liked them. I might have to revisit them. I'm going to have to figure out that slot, honestly. The Matrix is also fun as a more stable hex. That's a good idea as well. This year, I have to get out of this mindset, but this year, if you noticed, my bag had 2 max of any mold from anybody. And that was very on purpose because I didn't want to give any like extra advertising to a specific company when everybody out there does fine. And a lot of that was with the idea of like, okay, I don't want to do that so that I don't give disproportionate value and then like shoehorn in as this guy or this guy when I'm out like reaching for contracts without having anybody. And so obviously that never didn't end up happening. So that's a big win. But now I care much less about that. But if I do sign with somebody, that'll be very helpful in figuring out the discs. Is Star Boss any good? I have never thrown one. They're big for my hands, but I think they're probably good. This is rad that you were answering everything. Let's get a way to send you some realms and ethers. That'd be cool. That's broad. Check out the Matrix as Beef Reactor. Yeah. Yeah, if Gaben wants to send me some stuff, we can definitely make some stuff over here. Have you ever tried a wasp? I've not. That's an interesting thought. I've never tried a wasp. I was really hoping that my buzzes that I had, the ESP ones, were like very stable, and I would throw them hard and flat, and they would just turn. And I was like, come on, guys, go straight. So that was a little disappointing. Except for when you throw them at 8,000 feet elevation. Then they'll stay same. Supra is very flippy. Or, not very flippy. Supra is like, it's interesting. It's between a buzz and an origin. Or like between an MD3 and an origin. But I think it beats in much faster. And so the like glow one that I have has gotten flippy a lot faster. They renumber the Supreme to a 3 fade. Ooh, nice. Do you get nose down at the end of your throw, or do you start in a nose down position? You need to start it nose down to get it nose down. Like the disc isn't going to somehow magically go from this to this. It's going to go from this, and the air is going to stop it. And then it's going to just fall to the left. You need to throw it nose down at the beginning. Open or wooded courses, I prefer courses with obstacles. For me, because I like to film, a 2-wooded course is hard to film. But I don't like just super open courses. I'm actually, if you watch the time-lapse video that I posted, which you probably weren't able to fully watch unless you just came from that, I really, really, really like, I'm going to start doing this a lot more, is my mindset has been pretty bad since getting into Denver. Because you get to Denver, and one of the first things that people tell you is like, oh yeah, the community is second to none, but the courses are second to most. Brandon Nealon, one of the guys over at another round, who has designed some of the courses and designed some really cool safari layouts, like told me that. And like I was like, oh, this is so true. And so that just gets in your head, and it's a little insidious because you're talking with all these pros and all these people who are trying to get better or better, and they're just like, yeah, these courses suck. Like, what do you do? These courses suck. Oh, I'm moving. These courses suck. Blah blah blah. And it's like, it's not wrong. These courses are pretty ass, but that doesn't mean that they have to be. And so like, if you go and watch that time lapse video, I really liked that my mother-in-law just texted me. 1 second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what was going on, but my wife just got there, so I wanted to make sure. Goddamn, I lost my train of thought. Yes, so like, I've been really trying to cultivate over the last month or two an attitude in general in life, much more of gratitude, of like, I'm very thankful for everything that has happened. Whether or not like I've worked hard for it, which most things I think I have, but like, just my baseline is more that I'm going to be grateful for it than feel entitled to the stuff that I've done. And so that's kind of bled into most things in life, gratefully. And so in disc golf now, my mindset has kind of shifted to like, okay, these courses are ass. How can I make them better? And so if you go watch that time-lapse video, I designed at a course that like no one plays for the most part because it's not a great course. I don't like playing that course. We played 9 holes there, and I think 6 or 7 of them I just designed like in the moment, thinking about it, and adding the specific OBs, elongating the holes, like it made the holes significantly more challenging, and like you had to think about a lot more things, and it stretched the holes out to a point where it gets to a point with a lot of courses where as you get better, like it's hard to regress your game or progress the hole in a way that that like makes it difficult enough that you're continuing to challenge yourself and get to the next level. So like some courses, it's like, okay, maybe like this is a full-fledged course, but like maybe I can just only throw a putter at it. But it's like that's not really helping all of your game. And so instead it's like, okay, let me figure out a way that I can change this hole, which is a water carry that's 340 feet, and now it's a 430 foot hole with that still has that same water carry, but then you add an OB as well, and now hitting that gap that you have to just get to that first basket, you have to go over that and get to something more difficult. I'm thinking specifically of the 5th hole. And so that's kind of what I'm going to try to, I'm not like trying to be a course designer, but I enjoy the problem solving aspect of that and the aspect of like, let's find out a way to make this the most difficult. So instead of just going out and being like, okay, I'm going to go play this normal 18 hole course again, it's like, what if I design a really difficult and challenging and exciting to play 10 or 12 hole course that utilizes this layout, and I go and play most of the time when people aren't there. And if people are there, I just play the normal hole or whatever, but trying to find ways to not complain about things and just to actually like do something that's going to be beneficial, especially because my wife just got a new job recently. Like we're not planning on moving anytime in the next year at least, probably a lot longer. And I could see us like setting down roots here in Denver, and like it sucks because the courses are not great, but you can make really good layouts, I think. And playing with Joel and Cole was really helpful with that. So that was a helpful like eye opening thing. But yeah, don't know if this is already answered, but when are you restocking your website? I am not planning on restocking the website. I will restock the website if I don't get a contract, essentially. And then maybe if I do, and then if I do get a contract, I'll probably do merch still and stuff. But I have no plans on restocking in the next couple months, unfortunately. It's kind of nice to have an inventory to worry about. You should give the MVP reactor a try if you never have. Yeah, it's a good mid for sure. I played in course in Wisconsin. Superior Municipal Forest, I think, is in Wisconsin. And that's it. I really love that course. So that's like a top 15 course for me. Nose down is in while you're holding it, like putting the nose down right before you release rather than going through your entire motion nose down. I think the entire, maybe it's both. Like, I'm not great at nose down right now. I do notice, one of the things I've noticed the more I've like just been studying pro form and asking them about it is they tend to hold it. I've noticed a lot of times I hold the disc like this, where they tend to hold the disc like this, where their forearm here is flat to kind of this pad part of their hand. So if you're like this, it's a little bit angled up, which is obviously nose up. And then here is nose down. And you also have to think about you're throwing the backside of the disc. So when you throw it out, you need to make sure that you are throwing the backside of the disc down. So keeping that angle here. And then the biggest thing I think is you're either hitting there and just staying there, or if you're using any wrist at all, it needs to be in that plane. Whereas for me, I think I start good and everything is fine, and then I pop it to get a little bit more spin, and the nose pops up. So I think that's where I am having a lot of issues, which I'm just going to have to iron out with some more practice, and then that might also not be correct, but that's just speculation. So when's the Bodanza design course? Hey, there might be some layouts here, but I would love to eventually like have a course. Like I feel like that's a part of everybody who has success in disc golf's dream, but yeah, we'll see. What brand do you think you haven't thrown that much from that you want to throw more? DGA, especially with playing with Cole. I've only thrown a DGA Quake, and that's the only disc. So DGA, let's do some stuff. Have I tried a construct? Not yet. My best score at Johnny is like 16, I think. I'm not sure. I haven't got the 18 yet. I also don't like playing Johnny, so I don't go there almost at all unless I'm filming videos. What are your thoughts on slightly slanted greens or fairways? Love it. 100% love it. I think that is super necessary. I love that, yeah. Slightly slanted greens or fairways are absolutely important. They can't be gimmicky, though. Like, that video that I posted that was like, they're going to need to change this for Worlds. Like, the biggest comment thread that I ended up pinning was, like, people being like, oh, no, this is fine. And it's probably because, like, the camera didn't do justice, but, like, it wasn't fine. It was fine if it's just that grade where that basket's on. That's fine. Like, yeah, you got to have touch to land it in there. But there were different size rocks that, like, made every single square foot or every single disc size piece of that land inconsistent. So I could throw the perfect turnover that landed exactly matching the grade of the hill or the average grade of the hill, but there's going to be rocks that perturb that, and so it's going to like pick up and roll, and there's OB so close that makes it bad. But if there's a way to have a relative consistency, not even full consistency, but like, hey, I know that this 30-foot square feet, if I land it here, it's going to do something consistent, that's a win. I think that we need a lot more of that. Is the live staying up after it ends? Yes, 100%. You can watch it anytime. You can rewatch it a billion times so I get 4,000 hours watch time. That'd be sick. Thoughts on the shape of the tee pads? I personally think they should be circles or ovals and not directly rectangles. Allows for more angled shots. I don't really care too much as long as they're not too skinny. I think if your tee pad gives you... Let me think. I don't have a measure in here, but I'm trying to think like what is like just a normal run up from here? Like enough, maybe like for me like 6 feet. Like obviously James Conner wouldn't like this, but I think if you are like long enough that if you're going to throw off the diagonal of a tee pad, you have a diagonal room that's at least 6 or 7 feet to do that. I don't care if it's a circle or not, but it does need that much room, I think. So it needs to be wide at least. I don't care about the length as much. Well, I care that it needs to be long enough. Like I think if it's going to be any sort of rectangle, the length needs to be bigger than the width, but the width also needs to be big enough, in my opinion. Tremor is my understable mid. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I saw Cole throwing that. It was a lot of fun. Are you thinking about doing your nuke it in the bag type videos or doing other disc reviews in the upcoming future? Yes, absolutely. I'm planning on doing a lot more disc reviews here soon. Nuke it in the bag, not quite as much. A lot of that is just dependent on like, there's not a lot of companies right now. So to be honest with you, nuke it in the bag doesn't do crazy well on the channel. And I think a lot of that is because I'm having to figure out a way to make a company that is not popular interesting to click on. And not most of the smaller companies are just like the smaller companies, you know, they're fine, but like there's a lot of legwork on my end to figure out ways to title and thumbnail in a way that people are going to be interested enough to click, that are not like the diehards. Whereas most discs, like that's why the most popular discs are going to get reviewed more. Because I mean, I'm in this as a like I'm a business person in this, and so I'm trying to get the most viewership possible because that correlates to the most reach and dollars, and then potential ads and sponsorships. And so I like doing those with those companies, but recently, like I'm not reaching out to any companies to do that, but I have had a company reach out to me who I did also tell that I'm doing a new kid in the bag for. So that's gonna be coming soon. It is a cool and interesting company. So their whole lineup should be headed my way soon, and yeah, you'll see that hopefully soon. DJ Vortex. The flight feels like when I pull an ultimate frisbee. Interesting. Favorite pro player prior to meeting some and why? Kristen Tatar. Still Kristen Tatar. It's always been Kristen Tatar. Any thoughts on the Paradox? I think it's good. I might need to get my hands on one to do for the Rolo video, but um, probably not. I'm probably just gonna do the F9 in the Paradox. But yeah, my favorite pro player. Going back to that Kristen Tatar thing, honestly, so I got started in disc golf, and because I already had a YouTube channel, I got into disc golf YouTube. And the king of disc golf YouTube at the time, who still arguably is Jonathan over at Latitude 64. He just made the best stuff, the most entertaining things, and so I was loving them. That's why I threw so much trilogy my first year playing, and also made Kristen my favorite because she was on in their content, and I really wanted a Grace, and then I got the Grace, and I loved the Grace, and that was my driver, and so Kristen's kind of always been my favorite, and so I still would love to meet her, and like that would be probably the only pro that I would like fanboy over. I think would be Kristen. But yeah, Kristen for sure. Can we still send you a disc to make a video with, or is that not something you're doing anymore? Not for the main channel, really. I like, yeah, to send a disc like make a video with. If you send stuff to like the PO box, all that stuff, I'm planning on like everything I get from the PO box nowadays, which I have linked somewhere in some videos, but I'm gonna be unboxing it here on Banana Froth and making content with it because that's just a lot of fun. But yeah. Yeah, Corey, I am still on here. Obviously, you left, so that's fun. Also, shout out completely Corey here. Go follow him on Instagram. If you see the new channel banner I have for Banana Prof, it's a lot of fun. It's the yeah, I found a great comment. It's like watching a dwarf version of Freddie Mercury with ADHD play disc golf. So that's now officially the channel banner here. It will likely have to change if I get a sponsor, which I'm very okay with, but it's also very funny. And I put a little froth logo up there. Corey is the one who made that little froth logo. So he has a mystery box coming his way. So go subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. He makes a lot of really funny content. And he will be, yeah, completely Corey. And he will be, how do I make better content? Asking for a friend. I don't know. You can tell your friend to message me, and maybe I can answer his question. We'll see. Perhaps moving to a certain new kid in the bags to here for us diehards. Yeah, I think the new kid in the bag is super interesting. It's just gonna matter if a company wants to send me their full lineup of discs. You know, like I'm not gonna go and buy discs because I'm not gonna go buy like a full lineup of discs because that will not be profitable. And it's not like something that like I would just want to buy for myself to be interested in. If they're like those things happen and I will do it. Like I'm not averse to buying discs at all. Like I'm not like, oh, I have a channel, so I'm never gonna buy a disc again. But I'm also like not just gonna buy discs to have discs. I'm gonna buy discs that I want and buy discs that I need. But if a company wants marketing, which is essentially like if someone reaches out to me, like they're asking because they want marketing. You know what I mean? And so I think that they should expect that I would expect some sort of value from them asking for me to be a marketing vessel for them. But yeah, any sane disc golfer should fanboy over Kristen Star. Honestly, dude, I'm a bit of a Crave fanboy. It's the first disc I fell in love with. That's sick. Craves are money. I just think that they were always weird for me, the Crave, honestly. I never really fell in love with it. It's like, I really do see the reason they called it 6.5 instead of a 7. I can tell like the little bit of that flight difference, and I don't know why. A little over a month ago, I ordered a glitch off your site and got 4 extra discs. What? What the frick was the order number? I'm so interested now. Wait, what? You ordered a glitching at 4 extra discs. Are you sure you didn't buy 5 discs? Because I don't think I'm that silly. Like, maybe I was really generous that day. But, wait, what? I'm trying to think, because also 5 discs requires a different box, and I don't send a lot of those boxes. I'm very confused. Okay, whatever. I'm very interested. Christopher Caldwell, Dumber and Grenade only route. That would be fun. That would make my thumb hurt so bad. I would be down though after I fix my form a little bit. A lot of these are like really fun ideas. A lot of like my goal with this off season is to get my form to a point where it might need tweaking, but it will never need overhauling again. Like last off season, I tried to overhaul it, screwed it up so bad. Not screwed up my form, but like didn't do it very well. This season, I feel like this off season I have a really good baseline, and I still have 3 months left until potentially my first tournament, unless I get into Florida Open, and so like let me just try to do everything I can to get all the overhauls done. So maybe I need to tweak it or whatever, but like I have all the distance I'll need, like where my form's at, and then a lot of these ideas are like ones that I like this like big looming cloud over my head of like so much of my thoughts being consumed with form because I need to figure stuff out and like problem solve because that's the mode that I'm in right now. That's gone, and then like it unlocks even more creativity, ideally, and more ability for different business stuff. And so I'm really excited for that. But yeah. Yeah, Ian, you're right. That does sound painful. But so that's a video I definitely want to do. But right now, I don't want to use any of my arm for stuff that is not going to be beneficial towards that. My favorite caddy for the 2023 season, probably the caddy for the Battle for Bedford. This guy, his name is Forrest, and he typically uses an Arabic numeral and then the established abbreviation. But yeah, he was a good caddy. Who would be my dream caddy? A Forest, dude. What are you talking? Why would I need a dream caddy when I had one already? What are you talking about, Adam? Come on. Have I thrown a zombie? And if you are, why are you slacking? Yeah, I have. Corey, why are you slacking? I have a video with a zombie in the thumbnail on my channel. Go find it right now. It's probably from like December of last year. So like 60,000 videos ago. Why are you slacking, Corey? You haven't watched all my videos? Why are you slacking? What are you talking about? That's a joke. I don't expect anybody to watch like a quarter of my videos. I post way too much. I'm in Florida now. It's pretty open. That's cool. You said you were going to come to Denver like 6 months ago, and you still haven't come and visited me. So no excuses, buddy. Funny story. Brought my Shatter Van Stamp glitch to the beach. Threw it to my buddy. Now I no longer have that glitch. Wait, what happened? Hammy's Disc Golf. What camera do I use? Nice. Now we're getting the equipment questions, baby. I do put all my content and my gear stuff as affiliate links down in the description, but you don't have to obviously like click through all of that. I'll definitely tell you. But if you're ever looking for anything that I use or like links to it, I have it all down there. This right now is being filmed just on an iPad, but the camera that I was gonna just tell you, it's sitting right next to me. What kind of dummy doesn't do show and tell? I think you can tell that I've been live streaming for 2 hours. That I'm getting a little bit loopier, just a little bit, a little sassier, you might say. This is the camera that I use. It's a Sony a7 IV. It is. I really like it. I don't do too much photo stuff with it. I did actually just take pictures for my wife for Christmas cards. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, and so the Sony a7 IV, I shoot 4K 30 at 10-bit 422 at 150M. If I had a better computer, I would probably shoot 4K 60, except it crops it. So I would maybe buy a different camera eventually. Not anything that's important right now. I really like the way that the 4K 30 looks because it's not. But I think 4K 60 could be a really beneficial upgrade in the future. I just don't think it's 100% necessary right now. And then this is the lens that I shoot on, which is, let me make sure that it's showing you so you can actually see it. Come on, stop lagging. What are you doing, buddy? Well, I ramble really good. Okay, perfect. So you can't see it. I should have just assumed. It is the full frame. That's what FE means on the Sony lenses. F4, which means that the widest aperture that it can go to is 4.0, and it is a constant aperture through the whole zoom range. So it's just F4, and it is the 20 to 70. So it gives you a really good. Here, I'll actually show you. This will be cool. So you can see it gives a really good like wide, like depth of field. So you're able to like I'm able to talk at this. I just armed like my arm. I don't have big arms, and my arm is like I'm using my elbow on the thing, and it's not even fully extended. And so you can see, it gets a pretty good range when I'm like vlogging out there. Oh, nice. Okay, you could see that. Good. And so plenty of room. And then if you were to zoom it in, it gets pretty decent. And the further zoomed in you get, the more compression there is, meaning the closer everything in the background is to the foreground. So when I'm throwing longer shots and I want you to be able to see the full flight of a disc, I'll typically end up zooming it in a decent bit and try to shoot anywhere from f28 to f50, closer to the higher end as possible. That does mean that the camera has to be further away from you, obviously, because you're zooming it in. But if you are still able to get the full picture in there, that you'll be able to see a lot more of the disc flight. The same token, if I want to seem like I'm throwing freaking bombs, then I'll zoom it out a little bit, because then it looks like the disc is super tiny and it's going super far. I do sometimes also use another lens. I rarely use it for disc golf, but here's the difference. I'll remind you real fast of what this looks like. This is the main one for disc golf because I like the f4. It's still plenty wide open, and then the 20 to 70 is good. I did use this other lens for a while for disc golf until I ended up... This one wasn't even out yet, but I would honestly think about, instead of getting either of these, or one of them, I really like how wide the 20 is, but I would honestly think about getting... Oh, God, I just didn't turn that off. That was a bad call. What a freaking idiot. Shit. Alright, okay, we're good. Gosh. That was so dumb. Don't leave your camera on and just give it a white sensor. Okay, we're good. This is how wide this one gets. This is 16 to 28. So this one gets super, super wide. So you're able to see so much more of the frame, or of the room around you. Okay, I'm going to turn it off now. But it only zooms into 28, which is like almost the starting point of that other one. And the other one gives you so much more compression, which is so much more useful when you're outside on the course. So that's what I am using. And this one I'll start using a little bit more inside. And if I ever get like a second shooting camera, I'll probably have this one live on it and live in here, so I can do a little bit more streaming or just like desk stuff, or for my other channel that's not disc golf related, I'm planning on doing more videos there, and I can do that. Also, if you're ever changing lenses, change the lens upside down. Sensor stays upside down, that way no dust can get into it as easily, and then you don't get the little specks that you see in my videos like once every 8 months. Alrighty. Whoa, lots more. What's your opinion on the 2023 KC Wide Open course? That's my home course. Phenomenal course. One of my favorite tournament course I've ever played, maybe besides New London and Ivy Hill. But it's a phenomenal course. I would love to go back. I want to go back so bad. I love that place. Man, I'm running out of questions so much, but I do enjoy this. What's my favorite color? Purple, by far. Listen, have you ever tried the Gateway Devil Hawk? Yes. That was in like a super overstable mystery box video that I did. It's kind of fun. It's a fun disc. And I also did a Gateway video a while back, like last off season. It was in 2 different boxes, they taped together. 1809. Okay, I'm looking this up. This is the guy who said I gave him way too many discs. So did someone like not get their discs? Order 1809? What is going on? Because that makes it seem like there was 2 different orders. 1809. I'm so confused. Were the other discs like good ones? Order 1809. I was about to say the name and that'd be so stupid. What? It was 1 disc. All right, dude, I'm so confused. What was the day? October 14th. Were there a lot of orders that day? I'm going literally insane that I just shipped out 1 billion extra discs. What is going on? Now I can't even find that order. All right, this is really not something that is like super important to be doing right now on the live stream. But hey, I was in the wrong month like a freaking idiot. Of course, that's what you do. You'd be stupid. Oh yeah, there was a lot of orders that day. Well, cool. If someone like didn't get their discs, please let me know. Let me make it right. Oh my gosh. Shout out iPhone Clutch. Putter review video coming soon. Forgot to ask if you got that boy I sent you. Yes, Aaron, I did. That video I shot today, and it's going live tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, showing your disc collection. I did show it. It's earlier in the live stream. You can definitely check it out. It's not very big. There's not a lot of discs. 60 looks too weird. Stay at 30. No, 60 doesn't look too weird. It depends on the video. I like 30 for my style. Some videos deserve 60 though. Some should say 60, but I agree. 30. I don't like 24. 24 is too little for disc golf. I'm not like shooting a dock style thing. Gonna be an actual vid showing your disc collection. Yeah, the disc collection was earlier. It'll eventually be another video, but like I need to get more discs before it becomes an actual video. His hands were like butter as I watched this. What the frick? Hindsight should have just tossed to the guy. Oh, standing in the waves. That was why. That makes sense. Dang it. What's your favorite disc of all time? Not a mold, but specific disc. I have an Innovastar Beast that has been in my bag for like 8+ years. I'd be devastated if I lost it. That is a great question. And it changes for me like every week. Right now, I think it's this Envy. This Envy, I think, is my favorite disc ever. At least right now. More important, what camera bag is that? Oh, let's get into it, Corey. This is the PGY Tech 1Mo Lite. It's got a nice little clamshell. This is a really nice tripod that I got, but the clamshell here just opens up in the back. I had the bigger one, the 20-liter one, which opened this way, which is always weird. I like that this opens clamshell so I can keep it down there. Plenty of room for everything. I was a little worried that it wouldn't be big enough for my 16-inch MacBook when I traveled, but it was the perfect size for it all. I think that the PGY Tech bags are some of the best bags out there. Am I going to join Foundation Disc Golf? No chance. Yeah, probably not. I mean, obviously, there's always a chance of everything, but it'd be very, very, very unlikely. I do actually have a real question. I'm in Grand Junction. I'm wondering what your weight of Jessica Weiss destroyers were. The one that's in my bag right now is a 171. I really like these guys. These destroyers are so good. I like kind of want to commission off the Jessica Weiss ones, but it's also like I like to support FBO disc golf. So, and I also definitely didn't sell more than they did. So, but they're such good discs. 100%. It's almost too flippy, but Heiser flips like a dream. Nothing's ever too flippy for Heiser. Which form correction advice that Drew gave you did you find the most beneficial to your form? Probably just making sure that my steps were really short, and then also just like helping me be really athletic and explosive off of the back leg. I won't get into that. It doesn't matter. I don't even know what I believe. I just try to do stuff. What's your non-disc golf channel? It's just my name. If you search my name, you'll find it. It's not been anything on it in like 14 months, but I'm going to plan on starting getting stuff back up there. Maybe this month because ad rates are still so high, or December. So it'd be really nice to get a little bit of extra income. But, I mean, disc golf channel's been doing really well anyways. Do I have a favorite basket? I really like the Chain Stars from this craft. Chain Star Pros. I like those a lot. I just don't like the Mach 3s or whatever. But yeah, just bought 2. Thanks for the response. Yeah, for sure. What's the lightest weight disc you consider throwing other than a glitch? Like for bagging, probably like 167, I'd say. I don't see a lot of reason to go a lot below that, personally, but I think that's probably where I would be. The only other thing would be the only other thing I could think of is like getting a really light, really overstable driver. I could see myself doing that because I know like Drew does that, AB does that, but who knows? Is that a small rig tripod? Because me too. No, my tripod is a little more expensive than that one. Not that that's a bad tripod. I just wanted to get a super light one. It's the Ulanzi times Komen carbon fiber travel tripod, F38. It uses the same mounting system that I have on my camera. So it's really easy to just kind of slide it in. Of course, when I try to do it on video, it doesn't work because I always do it with my other hand. There we go. Slide it in, locks it. Really nice ball head. Got a couple different center spokes I can use, and then packs down real small, and it gets up to a good length pretty easily. And it also weighs 3 pounds less than my other tripod that I had, so it makes filming significantly less cumbersome. But it is also pretty expensive. But I mean, I think it's already paid for itself in the just me being happier in videos, which means people stay longer, so the ad rates turn out to be better. All right. Wow, I just cannot get off of this live stream, which is awesome. Wow. Oh, I missed this one. No, I didn't miss that one. Sorry. Okay. All right. Peace, brothers. Midnight. Oh, yeah, that's true. Oh, my gosh. It's 10:10. All right. Looks like I'm not doing any form work tonight. What's my favorite course that I've played? New London. It just makes me keep wanting to come back. New London is so good. I have a question about your van. How long did it take you to build it out, and approximately how much did it cost altogether? I'd say we're probably about 30 into it, including the van. We bought it really cheap. We got it fixed up. It's got 220,000 miles on it right now. I'm hoping to sell it very soon, and then buy a car that I can travel in. I really like the new Toyota Grand Highlanders, but we'll see if I can afford that eventually, and if I sell the van, maybe. But yeah, Yeah, build took 45 days because I was working for myself at the time, luckily, and I stopped working and I lost a bunch of momentum on my other channel. I just basically stopped working for 45 days and built out the van so that we could leave a little earlier than we had expected from Orlando. It's pretty money. What advice would I have for a young content creator? Be as consistent as you can be, whether that means that you, especially being a young content creator, whether you dial back the amount of time that you're able to post, like instead of trying to force 2 times a week, just do once a week, or even less necessarily, but like whatever you can consistently commit to that puts out a good quality enough product. But this is going to be a little bit boring advice, and you're gonna have to figure out like what the balance of this is for you. But also, you need to like try things fast and fail fast because I don't know. I'm on my disc golf channel alone. I think I have 400 full length videos. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. Um, but before that, I'd probably made another 200 or 250, and so I'm probably 350 videos or 400 videos in until I was like making really good videos. Not that it has to take that long, but if you try to make one thing in every video, don't make every video better than the last video. Make something in every video better than the last one because there are videos that's like if I try to make every video better than the last video, then I'm just gonna like be screwed and take forever on something because I'm like there's some videos that I'm insanely proud of how I did them, and also all videos are different. But if you try to make one thing in every video better than the last one, you're gonna build a library of skills over your bunch of videos that you end up making, and then also just having low expectations, trying to capitalize on whatever opportunities that you can, but also having lower expectations. And then as you do have higher highs and higher highs, when you do have the lows that are associated with that, a lot of times there'll be higher lows, but you'll be so disappointed because of the higher highs that you don't appreciate that your lows are now 2 times as big as they were before. So those are some of my main tips. Random thinking. Have you thrown a 167, 168 strike? It's a completely different disc. I've thrown a 170. I haven't thrown anything less than that. Birdie said that they're like out of strikes though, so I don't know what to do. I'm gonna need to find a new 7-speed maybe. Z-Lite Nuke. Yeah, I don't like the Nuke's rim, but exactly. Yeah, the Z-Lite Nuke OS. This thing, I wanna throw something like that. It just seems kind of cool. It seems like all the cool guys are doing it, so I want to be a cool guy too. That's so cringe. What's your take on being there are too many chains of baskets today? Less finesse required to make putts. I think it's dumb. I don't. The whole putting is too easy thing. I don't necessarily even think I agree with. But I think that in a sport where like the course design is not good enough to make the courses challenging enough, that putting, putting doesn't. I feel like right now putting feels like free throws where it should feel like a 3-pointer in some sort of coverage where it's like there needs to be a little more stress on putting because it was so hard for you to get into that position. You know, like you threw such a good shot that now you have to capitalize. And that in of itself psychologically will make putting slightly harder. But I do think that like shrinking the chains like where they are, I think could be good. I don't think the basket needs to necessarily get any smaller. Maybe the height can get smaller. I don't think the chain thing is necessarily something important. I think that's just like an offhand comment that Climo made that people are taking out of proportion. Not out of proportion, but like they're just blowing it up into this thing. Do you know anything about graphene? If not, look it up. It is the material of the near future for sure. Graphene. I don't know what graphene is. I need to be like a real streamer and like figure out how to put everything together. Graphene, cool future. The wonder material of the future. They said that in 2021. It's been 2 years since this thing, so we'll see. Pure carbon, sustainable solution for a bunch of applications. Interesting. I'll look it up eventually. Where would you like to travel to outside of the U.S.? New Zealand on your list? Yeah, New Zealand. I would love to play the Europe tour. That'd be a blast. Yeah, I would love to like. I wasn't able to swing it this year. Like financially, it doesn't make any sense, and then travel wise, and then form wise, it didn't make any sense. But I was like, I have a relationship with the tour down under in New Zealand, which I think is a super cool thing, and like it's something that my wife and I are very interested in making happen next year. Where I go and like we go and spend some time maybe and like just do some travel through Singapore and a little bit of Indonesia. I have a soft spot for Indonesia. I did a study abroad there for 6 months in Sumatra, and so like go to Singapore, do a little bit of time in Sumatra. Go down to Australia for Australian Nationals, go across New Zealand for the 4-week tour, then start the tour in the US. Like that'd be awesome. So I would love to do that. I'd also love to like be like, hey, like Chris, let's go take 2 or 3 months and go and play the Europe swing, you know? So that'd be a lot of fun as well. Yeah, will I ever come to Maine? No, that's not Maine. I'm so dumb. Minnesota again, around the time of the Preserve. Hopefully, I want to play the Preserve this year. So we'll see what I'm able to get into. So I got a mystery box and was wondering what the orange gateway that is signed. I believe that is a spell. It's a stable distance driver. It's a really good disc. I really like it. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's not like a better destroyer, but it's like an equally as good, if not better, destroyer. Yoda gang, baby. Yeah, I'm a big Toyota guy. What about your shot selection has changed since the form review? Not a lot, because I haven't like done anything of consequence since the form review, and it's still like in process. I've been definitely like much more comfortable with like punchy hyzers, like really ripping them out there, and a lot less comfortable with anhyzers. So that's something I'm gonna have to continue to work on. But I do think that the pull through stuff that I talked about 2 hours ago at the beginning of this is a massive will be a help to that. Am I planning on playing Johnny Glow at all? I had the same reaction earlier, but I hate Glow Disc Golf. I'm not a Glow guy at all. Favorite Denver or Colorado course ranking? Okay, we'll go Denver first. We're just going to go top 3. Number 1 in Denver, Lower Badlands by far right now is the winner. Second, I think Farringer Ranch playing all the OBs. Third, a lot of this is because I live in the northwest side. So those are the ones I play most. Third, I don't know, like it's hard because like I feel like West Creek and West Fork would be up there for me, especially West Fork being a bomber course. But like I never go and play them because they're so far. Say Adams, like those are the 3 courses that I frequent the most. But I think it will end up being the layouts that I create at Upper, Lower, Bird's Nest. Like I'm gonna make layouts for myself that I think I'll enjoy. But yeah. More obstacles on the green. I love more obstacles on the green. As long as it's not like gimmicky, like it's not the whole green, but like there's a place that you can play to get a putt. I absolutely love that. It makes it significantly harder. I think one of your card mates should play defense while you're putting. That makes it harder. Corey, I think that you should stop having ideas. When is it bedtime for Bodanza? Well, it's only 10:15 right now. And my bedtime fluctuates all the time. Tonight it might be 1 o'clock. Hopefully it's sooner than that. Ooh, I should make a frozen pizza. The picture of health. Next year you should go to North Idaho and play Caliber and Motherlode. I would love to play those courses. I heard that they are awesome. Like that's where Sandy Point is, I believe, right? But yeah, I would love to go and play those. There's a lot of travel. There's just so many. There's so much potential for disc golf courses. It's like hard because as a content creator, I have this great. I'm so thankful for the ability that like I can go and do these things, and it's awesome. But at the same time, it's like I should also prioritize going and doing the things that I really enjoy doing and want to do, but also I know will do very well video wise. And so if there's not a really good title thumbnail concept, that trip is kind of out of the question. So like maybe I just need to like sit down and be like, okay, what is this good title thumbnail concept? And eventually, like massive thanks to Simon, thanks to Drew, like grateful for all of you guys for joining, but like my like baseline of viewership is getting to the point and it's getting closer and closer to where like I feel like I can post almost anything on my channel and get as like, knowing that I'll be able to make a good enough title and thumbnail and the topic is good enough that I'll be able to get enough views that it justifies the profitability of making whatever it is. I'm not quite there yet. I think there's a little bit of ways to go for sure, but once that happens, I'll be really stoked because it's just like, and I think a lot of that potentially will come from if I am able to play well on the tour. I think that that would be massive for my career and for my channel of just like obviously not getting to Simon level, but like aspiring towards that and maybe not getting there, not even getting close, but like maybe I make a lead card one time or maybe I could make a chase card because I feel like the power of like having a really robust social media presence is like if I do make one lead card, it is going to be a much bigger boon to my success than it is to another player who is potentially similarly rated but doesn't have that same social media outlet because there are going to be people who are interested immediately, but that interest is going to fizzle out. But if you can capture that interest and have a lot of value that you can give to that person, which is what my channel would be, in just in terms of entertainment, maybe value in other ways to them, then that's someone who, oh, I just discovered you this way, and then I've been following you ever since. Instead of, oh, I heard about you that one time that you made lead card, and so that's kind of like if I'm able to make some sort of leader chase card or get on a Jomez coverage or like whatever it ends up being, or do something cool that like grabs people's attention while it's on tour, like that would be a massive benefit to my success. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. And then at that point, I can just like hopefully not quite at Simon level, but maybe eventually, like I would love, I think that getting to Simon level on YouTube is much more attainable for me than getting to Simon level on disc golf. And so, especially because Simon will continue to grow and potentially be bigger than me, even if I get to that point. But if I'm able to do that, then all these avenues open up to me. And so those are just kind of some of the thoughts. You ever gonna come down to Texas? Yeah, for sure. I like Texas a lot. I definitely want to come down to Texas, especially Austin. My first ever course is Zilker Park in Austin, so I gotta go play that for the channel sometime. Who has more Johnny aces? You or Jason? Definitely Jason. I don't play Johnny ever. I don't like Johnny at all. I don't even know who Jason is, but Jason does. I think I have like 4. Ever thought about coming up to Washington? Yes. My wife and I have thought about moving to Washington potentially. Maybe like way down the road, maybe in like the Seattle area. I would love to play SeaTac at some point. Um, very interested in Washington. It's also our favorite national park is up there, so we'll definitely be traveling through. What brand? DiGiorno. No. Red Baron. I don't know. It's cheap. It's not. It's not good. Do you plan to stream again? If I have good ideas, maybe. I don't have crazy ideas. Maybe like I might stream some like training potentially at some point. Um, my wife and I are hoping to rent a townhouse after our lease term is up, and then I'll be able to create in the garage space a little bit of like a training area. And if I do that, then I'll stream a little bit more doing that. But I don't have any plans relatively soon. Great video idea. Play Ace Race for a video. Yeah, I've thought about that. Cole and I were going to do one of those. Didn't end up doing that. He actually did that with Joel, so be on the lookout for that on Joel's channel. That'll be cool. But I like the idea of an Ace Race, especially the way that Foundation does it. I think is a lot of fun. So something like that I'd be interested in doing. Where would we send a disc for you to give a review on? I think I have an extra magician and would love to see your thoughts on it. Yeah, Jason, another round I know. My PO box. It is somewhere. It is on my other. Wait, when's the last time I posted it? Last time I posted it was on a video on this channel. What video? Wait, let me go and find it real fast. It was. Was it this one? Sorry, let me find it. Yeah, my PO by far the best disc golf storage solution, the one I posted 2 days ago. My PO box is on that one, so you can check that out. There's some great courses in Washington. Yeah, beautiful area. Please find a way to collab with Matteo. Oh my gosh, yes, that'd be awesome. If I get on tour, I'm gonna do everything in my power to collaborate with that man. That is gonna be awesome. Bellevue, Washington, sweet. All of your ideas are good ideas. Totally not sucking up. Thank you. That's something that like, I think that's the most important thing. If like I have any advice for anybody who wants to do content, it's like your title, your thumbnail, your presence on camera, your video production, all that is important. But that can be phenomenal. And if nobody gives a shit about your topic, no one's gonna watch it. You know? So I try to think topic first and then go if the topic is really good and I can find a way to title and thumbnail it, which normally you can with a really good topic, then I know I can make a good enough video. And if I make a really good video and have a really good title and thumbnail and the topic is phenomenal, it's going to do phenomenal. And so the topic always comes first for me. And so that's kind of like, there's a lot of ideas that just come in and go out and come in and go out. And a lot of those ideas I want to do. And that's what this channel is going to be for, because it doesn't have to do crazy good. And then hopefully there's a diehard audience that's just like, whatever you post, I'll click on and it'll be fun and it's good enough. And it's a much smaller audience than the main channel. Maybe not. We can subscribe to this channel and try to make it bigger than the main channel. But yeah, that's kind of the thoughts. Thank you. Thank you for not sucking up. Go play Kayak Point. That'd be awesome. I would love that. How often do you go through video comments? I used to not go through them at all, and recently I've been going through them a decent bit. I only go through like recent ones, and typically I'll go through like if a video's been posted, I'll try to respond to some comments in the first couple hours on that one. I'd never like go back though. I had a really bad relationship with comments for a while because like you get mostly positive comments, and then you get one comment that was like just trying to dig into your deepest insecurity for absolutely no reason at all, and it just like ruins your day. And it's like, why were these 20 nice people being so nice, and then this person's like the meanest that you could ever possibly be? And I had a lot of those comments on videos for a while. Recently, they haven't been coming up as much. I had one comment yesterday that this guy said I was full of shit because it was funny. He's like, "You're so full of shit. Like, you're just trying to make these holes. You're saying these holes are longer than they are so that you can look good." And and he's like a local of this course, he was saying. And then he thought that I deleted his comments, but it's because YouTube just restricted them because he literally said that I was full of shit. And they're like, "Hey, this comment was mean. I'm going to hide it. Do you want to approve this comment?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll approve the comment." But you can literally see in the video where I read off the T sign. You can literally see in the video where I go off camera to read the T sign, and I say these two options. So that was like the meanest thing that's come in a while. And I guess the other like mean one would be like that the dwarf Freddie Mercury, who has ADHD playing disc golf, but I think that's just a stick. That's why. All your discs. Most of them went to the mystery boxes. So all the discs that were there are mystery boxes that I sold through Banana for Off here. Thank you guys for buying those. You guys sold those out in like so soon. That was massively helpful to my finances this season. So massive thank you for that. And just helpful to not have inventory just sitting on the shelves. So that's why you have no views. Well, that's why I have no views. I don't know, maybe. I'll send positive vibes next video then. You're all good. That's the thing. Almost all of it is positive vibes. It's just so much harder to internalize that than it is to internalize the negativity, especially when the negativity is on an insecurity, and the positivity sometimes is also, it's combating an insecurity, but a person on the internet who is behind a screen that I don't know, combating an insecurity isn't the same as someone confirming an insecurity. So that's where that comes in. But luckily I have a much better relationship with that, and a lot of that comes from not looking at it for a while, not looking at my analytics for a while, and it controls other words. My diet Gavin Rathbun was funny though, right? I think I probably weigh as much as Gavin Rathbun, honestly. I'm interested to see how much he weighs. I'm like, maybe not the diet, maybe the snack size Gavin Rathbun, but not the diet version. Should I be nicer to you in the comments? Okay, Dark. No, Corey, you can be as mean as you want. You can definitely be as mean as you want. Nobody will like you, but you can be as mean as you want. That's all right. I respect your grind, man. You have a lot of drive, and I can see in your videos. Thank you. Ooh, thinking of getting a new bag. Should I go XL? Like plus 20. Bag for what? For camera or not? I have a 15-liter bag for my camera, if that's what you're asking. And I think it's more than enough. The other ones look way too big. Unless you travel a ton. I feel like you and Latitude 64 would be a match made in heaven. I feel like that would be good as well. That'd be cool, but no idea what's going to happen yet. It's going to depend on what the offers are on the table and if any of them are either enough or are better. We'll see. Get the Squatch lure. I would love to have a Squatch lure. I would love a bag sponsor. I should think about that. I haven't really thought about that. That'd be cool. Because I also sell a decent amount of bags every month, just from like videos that have been on my channel that I get affiliate payments for. Thank you for that idea. Best first camera for disc golf content, your phone, 100%. Jesse, your phone. Your phone, 100% your phone. It's your phone. Because your phone's going to be as good as all the entry-level cameras that are not mirrorless cameras, which have a big learning curve, which are also going to be in the $1,000 price range for something that is decent. And your phone is going to have computational processing, whereas these other ones, which have similar sensor size or maybe a little bit smaller, your phone can likely shoot 4K. The sensor is going to be relatively similar, and it's more so about storytelling than it is production value. Even though I like having really good production value, my video, like I got to like maybe I got to a decent subscriber count in a very short amount of time with this camera. Oh, this is my sentimental thing right here, baby. It's a Canon M50 Mark I. It is a 15 to 45 millimeter APS-C size, small little guy. If you see the difference between these two, it's a little bit. And obviously this one is nicer to have, and I appreciate producing content on it more. But I also really like making calculated business decisions, which are, if it's just for fun and you don't care and you got money to blow, buy whatever. Like I would say a good camera would be the ZVE1, which Simon recently got because I was talking to him about which camera to get. But an even better one would probably be like the A6400 or no, the ZVE10. I think would be really good entry level. It's about $800. The best thing would be to upgrade the glass a little bit because that shoots good enough. But or the lens, I mean, that's what the glass is. But yeah, your phone is more than enough, especially because because it's going to be easier for you to want to shoot, and it has computational processing more than likely, which means that it's going to be doing stuff to the video that a camera won't. That just has a small sensor, so it'll probably make it better, especially iPhone. The grip bag you got looks crazy nice, but I don't know if I have that many discs. Yeah, I think the grip bag that I have is sweet, and like I also just like if I don't have to pay for something, I don't like paying for something. So I've been using this, but I don't think it'll be the bag that I'd want to use for next. Like I would use it for next season, but I'm also potentially hoping to either I don't know. I would love to get a signature bag from a company. That'd be really cool. I think that would also sell pretty well, but I don't know. It's an interesting space because I'm like a not good enough player to warrant the type of sponsorship that I think that my content has, but also like my content would warrant, and like that reach because it's like the numbers are very significant in my opinion, and so it's like the companies would have to see it's like a player sponsorship, so it's that budget, but it's like more so the marketing budget. It's kind of weird. So I'm optimistic about a lot of things, but I'm also like not expecting anything in terms of any sponsorships at all, just because I don't want to get my hopes up and people not see what I see in a lot of this. But yeah, the grip bag is sick though. Is it weird? I have a Latitude 64 bag with only MVP discs. No, it's fun. I'm loving your Simon Bound bag. Yeah, it's sick. My Galaxy S7, time to shine for sure. 100%. Use your phone. That is going to be phenomenal. Hey, I may have an idea about a bag. We'll talk about it soon. That'd be cool. Squatch lore is really sweet, to be honest. Yeah, that bag is so good. The small one is so cool. Personally, I think it's a good start with a 15 to 20 bag until you consistently think there's not enough room. Yeah, some of the bags I really liked, if you want like a smaller grip-ish style bag, is I have links in my descriptions to Discology bags, which are relatively cheap and kind of like you could say like grippy knockoffs, but it's also like it's just a bag which a bunch of companies make now. And if you wanted something that was a little bit different vibe than that, there's also a link down there for they're both affiliate links, but it's called the Renew Eco Pack, which is a bag that is made fully out of recycled billboard canvas out of Wisconsin that they buy and turn into disc golf bags that are pretty durable. They're really solid. So both those bags are like on the smaller side, but they fit enough discs that I would be comfortable honestly bagging them. I just don't because I abused the crap out of them, and I have this nice big bag that helps me because I like to carry a bunch of stuff around when I'm filming. Like I have a lot of times like mic stuff, extra batteries, some stuff for some extra stuff for my camera like wind covers and stuff. So yeah. All right. Dynamic Disc and DG both have some good deals on bags. Oh, good to know. Bodanza, what's up, Caleb? Yeah, I'm live. Doesn't happen a lot, but it's happening now. 1520 is more space than people think it is, in my opinion. Honestly, I think here my bag right now. I don't think. Let me see how many I have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Yeah, I think I've right now. I'm carrying like 19 discs, including my putting putters, and some of them are just like fun ones for whatever. Got the Discology Izzo, and I think after. I like it, but it's almost too big. Yeah, it really is. Like on your back, it just feels a little too big. But I do like it. I think they could have squished it a little bit more, and it would have been really solid. Any tips on reach back timing? Hitting full reach back the moment you plant rather than early. The one thing so a couple things. One, you got to delay. For me, it's been delaying the rotation of the shoulders. And I talked about this a little earlier in the live stream, but I'll talk about it again real fast because I really like the cue. I have noticed that as I practice, I just am like kind of guiding myself, getting to the reach back as I hit. And throwing just like in my little practice swing when I hold the disc like this without actually like throwing it, like the one I shanked in that video. But I noticed that when I go to throw, I was taking my hand off way early. Like I would get into this step, and so this step before my X step, I would take my hand off, start to rotate, and then X step, and I would already be almost all the way fully rotated. And so today I started practicing and it actually was working for me that I would go ahead, stay kind of over myself and make sure that this hand stays until I feel my X step plant. And then I can rotate, and then I was hitting it almost exactly at the right time. I don't know if that's your problem. That's something that helped me, and but yeah. So I don't know. Form is so personal that probably is not what you're dealing with, but it is what really helped me. Is there any disc golf company you would not accept a sponsorship from? Yes, there's a lot of companies that I did not reach out to. Renew is also super lightweight. Yeah, Renew is like ridiculously lightweight. You should do a disc trade, a disc swap video, similar to a mystery box video. What would that look like, Travis? Tavis? I'm interested. Huh. Like make it like kind of like what Nate Turner just did with his brother or brother-in-law. That'd be like you make a mystery box for someone else. That'd be pretty interesting. Might be a dumb question, but any advice on getting more comfy talking to a camera? Practice. Honestly, just do it more. And then I always, well, when I started, I visualized someone behind the camera. Now it's just, like the camera is like my best friend ever. It's the only friend that I have in life. It's like it's the only good thing that I have at all. Just not even close to true, but yeah, I'd say practice is really, really helpful. Have you ever given the Innova Wraith a shot? Yeah, I've thrown the Wraith a little bit. I ran Wraiths a little bit. I think they're fine. They're like very inconsistent in my opinion, but that's the same with a lot of companies. And the bigger you get, the more inconsistent you're going to get. I think that's also one of the reasons why like MVP used to have this reputation of being so consistent, and now they've gotten so massive, and now there's a lot more inconsistency just because you run more discs, you run more plastic. There's more different cooling times that you're doing. So there's a lot more problem that comes with the consistency. But I think the Wraith is a really good disc. Have I considered chalk bag sponsor? I don't think so. I don't see the value in having chalk bag sponsor. I'll just use whatever chalk bag. I have a couple companies who would like send me chalk bags if I needed them, and who have sent me some chalk bags before. But like, I don't know what value I'd give to a chalk bag sponsor, and then what value I would get from them necessarily. I'm not super interested in a sponsor where it's like an exclusivity thing that is based on that has an exclusivity that is not tied to real tangible dollars that have somewhat of commensurate value towards being attached to my brand. But and so I don't know if like a chalk bag company would be necessarily big enough to warrant that, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm using the chalk bag. I'll like say the name of the chalk bag that I end up using, like, because it's just gonna change all the time and it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, that's not super interested in a chalk bag sponsor. Advice for getting more comfortable talking to camera while other people are walking by. Dude, I still suck at it so much. I quiet up so much because it's still so freaking awkward, and I've made 600 videos in the course of my last like 3 years. So yeah, I don't I wish I had a better answer for that. the more you do it, here's the God's honest truth. The more successful you become, the easier it becomes, because the imposter syndrome alleviates more and more. Because when I was getting started and I had my disc golf channel on the course and I was filming and I had like no followers, I'd be filming and I would like not talk to people about like what I was doing or anything, and be like, or talking to the camera or whatever. And that's why a lot of the videos I filmed this year were POV videos, and that I would just be, I like didn't want to talk to anybody. I still am an introvert, and I'm like, oh my God, please don't talk to me, please don't do it, please don't do it. If it's a fan, awesome. But I'm like, but even as it coming up, I'm like, oh my God, please don't talk to me. And then they talk, and I'm like, oh, this is great, I love this interaction. But initially started out of just being super scared and awkward, because it's like, oh my God, what if they ask me what this is for? And then they look it up and like, oh my God, this guy's got 150 subscribers. And so like the bigger I get, like I've had interactions recently where it's like, oh, do you have a YouTube channel, dude? Like in that kind of vibe. I'm like, yeah. And I don't like say anything more. And they're like, oh, what is it, dude? And I'm like, oh, it's Bodanza Disc Golf. And they look it up, and then like they see 32,000 or 31,000 subscribers, and like you just see their face change. And like that's kind of fun, because I know that that's going to be the reaction now, and so I don't mind as much, because it's kind of like you feel a little more powerful, which is kind of silly, but just the truth. And so I think the bigger you get, the easier it is. But it's tough, man. It's really tough. I still don't enjoy it. So sometimes you just got to do it. And also, it's okay to wait. Like I wait on tee pads. I wait for people. I let so many people play through. It's just like I would much rather not feel stressed while I'm shooting, because that's going to come across a little bit. And so if you have the ability, like having patience in that is definitely fine. What's your ideal clothing for a tournament? Like, what do you feel most comfortable in? I honestly want to figure that out. I would love to get a clothing sponsor, probably outside of disc golf clothing sponsor, like more athlete based. I'm gonna be looking for those type of deals sometime this year, just because of my channel. I was like, hey, I'm a pro. I have to say I'm a pro athlete. Hopefully after this year, I'll feel like I'm a pro disc golfer. But I'm a pro disc golfer who has a YouTube channel that has blah 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 blah, and hopefully get like a company that has really solid clothes to sponsor. Maybe a disc golf company, but I like outside of disc golf money coming in. Everyone talks about that, and this is a really tangible way that I can help with that, obviously. But yeah, I like more athletic style clothing. I like the jersey style stuff, but short shorts, because the shorter your shorts, the lower the score. That's always true. I should run some shorts that say that, like some 5-inch inseams, baby. But yeah, that's kind of yeah. Let me make sure my iPad still has battery, because I've been on here for a while. Okay, 24% left, so we still got like an hour, I guess. Get people from the community come for a disc swap, and you trade a disc you don't want for a disc they don't want anymore. You can even set standards such as this. Oh, that'd be pretty interesting. I don't think that would make for a good video. The premise, I think, would be pretty hard to come across easily, at least. But those actually, that's a good idea. Then do a normal mystery box video. Those discs that you get from the community. That'd be pretty interesting to kind of host a little disc swap and do that. I'm gonna screenshot that. I really like that idea, Tavis, because I really like the disc golf community, and I'm really grateful for a lot that the disc golf community has given me. And so this is like a good way to like showcase the community aspect of disc golf, and also not have to like be crazy about like telling a bunch of stories. It's just one story with little interjections from all of these people. I'm putting that in a little ideas list. Great. Put it in my notes. Great idea. And then you get to showcase little snippets of these people, and then you get to go and throw all those discs, and people enjoy it. You play any video games? I do not. I think I would get addicted so fast to video games. I like get addicted to mobile games way too much anyways, so no. He has ADHD, right? And of course it's yeah, that is one of the reasons why I try not to, and I've made sure that I didn't buy a console. I just got this iPad Pro recently, and just like to help me organize better, and I am so worried that I'm gonna like find mobile games that I like playing on it and just like stay up 6 nights in a row. Like even thinking about it, I'm thinking about a game that I want to download right now, and I have to like walk myself off a cliff. Are you open to fans coming up to you if they recognize you and say quick hi? Yeah, dude, absolutely. Most people are super, super cool about it. Some people are obviously super awkward about it, because some people are awkward, some people are super cool, but always, no matter what, it's super cool. So, like, I would love that for sure. It's always very humbling to like, I get recognized a lot while I'm out on the course, but it's always like, it's so crazy to think that like me, just a guy with a camera, like has an impact on like real people's lives. Because a lot of this is just like numbers on a screen, but I know you guys are real people, so that's really cool. Best fast food pizza and why is it Domino's? Dude, you're right. Yes, it is Domino's. Maybe because of their rewards, but also because there's one really close. And I don't know, but you're right. It is Domino's 100%. I would buy the shorts in a heartbeat. Yeah, I think I need to run some. I need to run them. I think next year a lot of like my sales, my site will be merch, not necessarily discs, and then like mystery boxes that like after enough companies send me stuff similar to what I've done before is like random discs, like 3 discs for $30 that are premium or 3 for 25 if it's 2 premium and a base, similar to what I've done in the past. But not a ton of sales probably next year, except for hopefully Tour Series discs. And obviously, if I don't get picked up, then we'll run a lot more custom stuff. But I'm hoping to not have to do that. All right, bet. Round 3 of your first league card tournament. I'm coming over and asking for an autograph. Yeah, as long as it's after the round, feel free. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions or anything? I think I kind of went over a lot. And this has been awesome. Really fun. Really enjoy this. Also crazy. I expected this to go on for like an hour and a half. I'm glad that I changed on my to-do list to tomorrow because everything has already gotten late. Because it's definitely gotten pretty late. So, well, definitely. If I would have known about these mystery boxes, I for sure would have bought. Yeah. Not a whole. Gosh. Yeah. So, cool, guys. I appreciate you. And thanks for watching. Thanks for checking it out. Definitely check out the Drew full video tomorrow. We'll potentially do live more often if I have like interesting things to talk about. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, Andrew Kristoff, big one. Not sure if you already answered that, but what are some of the destinations at the top of your list for travel, whether it be disc golf or personal interest? New Zealand is the biggest one, and then I think the European swing of the Pro Tour, I think would be the next super interesting one. Yeah, that's that. Appreciate you guys. Stay well, Kaylin, Night Inversion, and Adam. See you guys soon. Peace.